He thought he was in control. How wrong he was.
Come to the dark side driving. It's the dark side driving. Come to the dark side driving. It's the dark side driving movie club.
From the deepest corner of the darkest universe, two brave hosts battle through nameless hordes of ghoulish monsters most foul, all to bring you the eternal glory of the Dark Side Drive-In.
It's the dark side driving. It's the dark side driving. Come to the dark side driving. It's the dark side driving movie club. It's the dark side driving. Come to the dark side driving. It's the dark side driving. It's the dark side driving movie club.
Hey, what's up? It's Shane with Farview Studios. Wait, what? Farview Studios, not Dynamis Media? You're not used to hearing a new word? Well, guess what, folks? We took a break. I'm sure you can tell. This is our first time back doing a mainline, old school Dark Side Drive-In. So we're actually doing a movie today. We did rebrand a bit. You could hear more about that on our other show called UCCN, or as we're calling it, Under Couch Chicken Nugget. Yes, it is as zany as it sounds. We have basically set up a show where we're going to kind of get more into other things we're interested in, like video games, TV shows, movies, sometimes music, whatever kind of floats our boat, and maybe interview, who knows, right? It's kind of like our platform is just kind of do whatever we want, and then still keep this focused on horror, which we love. And yeah, did I get everything on that one, Stefan?
You didn't introduce me, but I guess that's fine.
Okay, well, I'm getting it. I'm getting there.
You're going to do all the business first, just have me sit quietly and wait until you call on me?
Yes.
It's clearly been a while since we've recorded because you forgot how to do it.
It has. I know. I'm terrible. I used to practice in the mirror, like 6 inches from the mirror, like a psycho. But anyways, yeah, so you are tuning into the Dark Side Drive-In, which is our horror-themed podcast where we cover movies from the 80s, sometimes 70s, this time 80s and 90s. I don't know how. And we are joined today by the host that Dave said has the most ghosts, Stefan. Why don't you say hi?
Hello. Man, you're nice way to try to compensate for your flub. You just try to really gas me up at that, but... secondhand gas because it's from Dave. Don't say it too loud. He's in the other room.
Yeah. And so we also have cameras
Six
on.
Siege.
Oh my God.
I told him not to, but he's like, isn't there an anniversary event coming? I'm like, Dave, don't.
He picks the most toxic.
He thrives on it. He actually can consume negative energy over the internet. He recently learned how. He learned to.
It's like that negative energy vampire from What We Do in the Shadows.
Colin Robinson. Essentially he discovered that this old grimoire beneath the subway down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, how is there a grimoire under the subway? Not like a train, because we don't have we do have a smaller mass transit train in the Pittsburgh area, but certainly not where I live.
Say mass transit.
So
yeah, right.
So not a subway, but like the restaurant. He went there for a foot long. Only so he likes to complain because they're not actually a foot long anymore. And he's like, I remember when they were $5. It's like, oh no, Dave, it's been so long since there were $5 foot longs. Yeah, but then when he went there, he got lost because he doesn't have any eyes. And I guess he fell into the sewer and found this old grimoire that allows him to, absorb negative energy no matter the distance, as long as he's actively participating in it. So it works over the internet.
We might have to adjust how we pay him now.
Yeah, I mean, well, you can't build a house out of negative energy. You need bones or other materials, but definitely something solid.
Some say the energy is what keeps it together. But hey, today we are covering Winterbeast in honor of the season of winter.
Yeah, way to go with that one, Shane.
Yeah. And you might hear this before the Christmas episode. We don't know. It's a mystery to all of us.
Are you actually going to release this one before the Christmas episode? Because you're a maniac. It's throwing me off because I actually live through time linearly. I don't know how you do it, but like every time I like to reference
tangentially.
I like to reference things across episodes. And when you do this and I reference something, what if I reference something from Elves, which has never come out? Who knows? But I did tell my mom that, like, well, you know, it's already March and we're doing Winterbeast, which we had planned to do, you know, in winter. And then my mom was like, well, you know, March has snowstorms a lot, so it could still be kind of winter. I'm like, stop trying to make Shane feel better about his tardiness.
Well, she's got a point. You know, before we get into Winterbeast, though, we have something we have to do. I know people have been clamoring for more of this content. They've been reaching out. They've been begging, threatening mainly, sometimes, Freck, about the creepy questionnaire. I will be honest with you, because it is out of order. I can't do the last question we asked because you have not heard it yet. So I actually found something that I think might be interesting to Stefan.
I would be interested to know what the last one even was, because I can't remember.
I don't either.
Way to go.
But so I found BuzzFeed calling you out. They want to know if you're a fake horror fan or not. So do you think you can pass BuzzFeed's 80s horror pop quiz?
I have no idea. I don't know what they would consider to be important.
Well, we're about to find out. So I've got tons of questions for you, but the real important one is, Stefan, are you ready?
Why, I'm the readiest I've ever been.
Insert dramatic music.
Boom.
Can you get some Regis in here?
Yeah.
Yeah. God, that Norm Macdonald one was just clutch.
Yeah, brutal. Well, it was brutal because isn't that the one where he kind of got talked out of it by Regis?
Yeah, Regis.
Yeah. Like Regis, you scoundrel. R.I.P. I guess. Is Regis dead?
Probably.
I mean, people live longer nowadays, man.
Let's take a look. Regis.
Oh, he's dead. He's been dead for a while.
Sure has.
But you see, he died during COVID, so like people were dropping like crazy. Then how was I supposed to just pay attention to one?
Yeah, there's a lot going on in that year. So, yeah. Well, anyways, so first up,
back to your BuzzFeed questionnaire, I guess.
Back to see if BuzzFeed thinks you're a real horror fan or not. If you're a fake poser. In The Shining, 1980, what does Danny nickname his power?
Like,
so this is worded incorrectly. BuzzFeed, you piece of shit. He doesn't nickname this, but
well, I mean, Scatman Crothers calls it the Shine.
Right.
It manifests itself in his like alter ego Tony, but I don't know if that's what they're talking about.
That is the correct answer.
Was it Tony?
It is Tony.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not how I would have worded that question.
That is a weird way to word it. But I guess that's Danny. I feel like that doesn't communicate very well what Tony is in the movie, in my opinion. As opposed to the book where it's very clear.
In Poltergeist, 1982, the ghosts steal Carol Ann through what household structure? This is such a
through the
stupid
television.
way to ask that question. Yeah.
Who calls a television a household structure?
No.
Who wrote this?
They said it's the closet. It's a TV.
Oh, no. They talk to her through the TV. They take her through the closet. Might be. Yeah, I was wrong.
You're fake. You're fake.
Fake horror fan. I'm actually not a big fan of Poltergeist, though, so...
Whoa. Yeah. Shots fired.
Shots fired at the film Poltergeist?
Oh, no.
What happened?
In the 1987 The Lost Boys, all the half vampires can be saved by doing what? And there's options. Do you want me to... I should have been reading these.
I've never watched The Lost Boys, so I have no idea.
All right. We're just going to...
I mean, if I had to guess, like, how to save the half vampires, it'd be kill the vampire that sired them, based off of...
That's it, dude. That's the answer.
Yeah, just based off of my knowledge of lore.
Yeah. You know, it'd be crazy if you let me read you the options, because there's 4 of them. You would have a 25% chance of guessing. But let's do this.
Sure.
In the 1980, The Changeling, a wealthy family murders their son and replaces him with an orphan. Where does the father hide the remains of his son? Do you need the options?
Yeah, I need options.
Okay. The local river, in a well, his basement, or D, in Europe?
I'm going to say in a well.
You're correct. Oh, this is a great one. In the 1983 Sleepaway Camp, what was Angela's original name? Ryan, Cameron, Thomas, or Peter?
Peter.
Speaking of Peter.
Heyo.
Heyo. In the 1980 The Fog, Jamie Lee Curtis acts alongside which family member? Her mother, her sister, her son, or her daughter?
Oh, no. Now I do feel like a fake horror person. I watch The Fog all the time. I'm going to say her mother.
Good call that it was her mother.
Isn't her mother the one that's played by Adrienne Barbeau?
There's another female like lead in this that looks like her. So that's like a good Janet Leigh is her mother.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Adrienne Barbeau is just the radio station person then.
Yeah. In the 1984 Nightmare on Elm Street, what is the main character's name? Sarah, Nancy, Nina, or Susan?
Oh, Nancy.
Nice. All right. In 1984 Gremlins, Billy breaks 2... Wait, what? Okay, Billy breaks 2 out of the 3 rules of caring for his gremlin pet. Which rule did he not break? No water, no bright lights, no food after midnight, no squeezing. So he broke 2 of them. What's the one he didn't break?
Well, he put them after midnight because they chewed the wire from the back of the clock and tricked him. And he obviously got Gizmo wet, otherwise there wouldn't be the other ones. So it's going to be bright light.
You're correct. You're a genius. 1981, The Howling.
How
Karen.
the movie ends is with them like killing Stripe when he's in the pool trying to like respawn. They like, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, but I think it means like when he has his gremlin.
When he has Gizmo, he doesn't break that rule. Yeah, true.
Right. So in 1981, The Howling, Karen White loses her memory and is sent on a vacation after what traumatic event? Being bitten, her husband cheating, meeting Eddie, a werewolf, losing her job.
It was Eddie. She gets attacked by Eddie.
Yeah, there you go.
And then goes to a retreat that's like run by like Eddie's family or whatever. Because why not?
So last one here. In Friday the 13th, 1980, Mrs. Voorhees reveals herself through a monologue towards the end of the film. What does she reveal about the significance of the date and how it relates to Jason? Is it his birthday? Is it her birthday? It's an unlucky day. 13 is Jason's favorite number.
I'm going to guess it's his birthday.
You're correct.
I really couldn't remember off the top of my head, but that's probably the one I've watched the least
God, dude.
times.
You scored 98% better than all the other quiz takers. We only missed one because of the way that poltergeist question was worded.
No, that was my mistake, though. I forgot that she communicates with them through like the TV with static and stuff like that. But yeah, it's the closet where she gets like sucked in. So that's on.
So according to BuzzFeed, you're like a horror genius.
Sure. I'm more impressed that
they should be reaching out to you.
Yeah, sure. I'm more impressed that I got that Lost Boys one cold and having never seen it.
Yeah. Well, so here are the options for that. So I should have been. Now, I think if I would have read you The Closet, I think you would have gotten that one. So we'll kind of not count that. Because I think it would have jogged your memory. So the question was, how do you like save yourself if you're half vampire? The options were going out in sunlight, leaving town, drinking human blood, or killing the head vampire.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which was the dad from Gilmore Girls, by the way, who was dating his mom. It was a pretty wild turn of events.
What a
spoiler alert from the 1987 movie that you should have seen.
What a twist
by now. What did
you know? I haven't watched it, don't you?
No, I don't.
I'll give you a hint.
Kiefer?
No. No. Kiefer Sutherland's fine. It is the director. And why do you suppose I might have a grudge against the director?
Hold on, I'm getting there. Oh, is it the dude that did World War Z?
Oh. You don't know who the director is?
I'm getting there. No, I didn't know who the... Oh, okay. Never mind.
Do you know?
Yeah, Joel Schumacher.
Yeah. What do I have against Joel Schumacher?
What don't you have against Joel Schumacher?
Specifically, Batman.
Batman.
Yeah, it's Batman.
Yeah. Well, Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin specifically. Batman Forever, I can overlook.
Yeah, right.
Even though they mischaracterized Two-Face and the Riddler, really, but it's still a little bit more forgivable than Batman and Robin, which is hard to look past.
I'll be real with you. I didn't mind Batman Forever. I love Val Kilmer. I actually like that one a lot. Nicole Kidman, Jim Carrey, Tommy Lee Jones, Chris O'Donnell.
Chris O'Donnell.
For folks in the know.
Yeah, sure.
Drew Barrymore. Got some heavy hitters. Jon Favreau's in it. Everyone's favorite. Cool. Well, that was our creepy questionnaire. Stefan is according to BuzzFeed, he's an OG horror guy. So give him the respect he deserves by flooding his inbox on Instagram. And how could they get you on Instagram, Stefan?
I don't want them to flood my inbox, but I'm on Instagram at Darkschneid.
You heard it here. He said flood his inbox. So.
Don't do it. I won't answer. Although on my Instagram you can see from that horror convention I went to where I met Barbara Crampton, who was in 2 of our movies.
Crampster.
Yeah.
Did you ask her for an interview?
No, I'm not. We had one successful interview that pretty much the stars aligned, and now you keep bringing up this interview idea. Like, I need a cool down period of half a year before I'm prepared.
Half a decade.
Yeah. And it's only because our interview subject was like really chill and very patient as we tried our best to be professionals.
Dude, I'll be real with you. I don't think I could interview Barbara Crampton.
She's really easy to talk to.
I'm sure, dude, but how would you, like, I feel like the whole time you'd be starstruck. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not saying Matt was cool. Matt's cool as hell. But like,
well, the problem would be keeping my focus on what I would want to talk about, because her movies, her career has spanned, all these decades and still making movies. So like, do you want to focus on the 80s stuff, which we love, obviously, or she would probably prefer we talk about her more recent things that she's still in and stuff like that? Because I remember the picture that I had her sign. I almost went for Jacob's Wife, which is a recent one. It's a really good movie. It's a vampire movie. I think it's on Shudder. That you can watch it. But like, I saw there was also a Castle Freak picture. I was like, oh, I'm gonna have her sign the Castle Freak one, even though that's an old.
How couldn't
you? It's before her hiatus from acting, but still. So yeah, it would just be hard to stay focused in that kind of situation, because there'd be so much that I would want to cover, and so much she would probably prefer that we not cover, that we stick to the recent stuff that actually impacts her present career.
Sure. Well, speaking of present career, we have a doozy for you all today. I hope you all watch this. And to be fair, you only had one time of hearing that we're doing this, but I'll post it.
Did they have any time to hear that we were doing this? Because you haven't released.
Yeah, the intermission.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did mention it in the intermission. You're right.
We did say it. And then we did say on another, well, I don't remember. Anyways, so I've seen this movie 4 times and I still am having trouble. And we'll probably get into that in more in depth. I think this might be, other than us rambling, because we are good at that, this might be our shortest episode in history. But I don't know, man. I'm going to say this. I'm going to go out on a limb. This has one of my favorite scenes in a movie we've done so far, and I'm pretty stoked to talk about it. So maybe before we get into the scenes, maybe we can get into who's in the movies. I saw a plethora of like well-known people have wide berths of work in their careers. So
is that what you saw?
Sure, this will be
is that what you saw in there? Sure, let's get
one guy. Look,
one guy has credits. You're right.
Just start.
You're absolutely correct.
Yeah. All right. Let's just get.
So Winterbeast, 1992 or 1985 or 1989, depending on if you consider a movie to be when it was produced and filmed or when it eventually was completed. It depends on how you think about these things. So number 1, we're going to start out with our director and co-writer, Christopher Thies, or Thies. I don't know. It's Thies. Let me see his credits. Oh, I'm sorry. This is it. This is the one. All right. There you go.
Okay.
Way to go, Christopher. You did it. All right. Next up is our other screenwriter, Joseph Calabrese. Looks like he had 1999's The Lottery, which I believe he wrote and directed. It's a short. I wonder if it's based off of like the Shirley Jackson story, The Lottery. That would probably make sense, but I don't know. But he was also on Spencer for Hire. He was a production assistant. Okay, that's it for Joseph Calabrese. Moving on to probably the most memorable part of this production, or at least maybe most accomplished part of this production, is the original music composed by Michael Perelstein. You had Master Race from Mars, The Deadly Spawn, Silent but Deadly, Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers, Where Evil Lives, Murder Below the Line, Ashling's Fury, A Turn in the Sun, and Heart of Surfing. So look at those credits. So many of them. I think the only... I've actually seen The Deadly Spawn, and I've seen Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. Sure, both movies. No one can say they're not.
I got confused at who this guy was, but yeah, we're good. Sorry, keep going.
Well, he's the one who did the music, Shane. Like, it's pretty distinct.
Yeah, well, so I was talking about, I thought he did the editing too, but that was the producer that did the editing, and that guy should stick to producing.
Oh yeah, we can cover the editor. I was going to cover the editor, and I was like, well, I'll wait till I get through the cast in my notes. And then I got through the cast. I was like, oh, I should probably do the editor too. All right, we'll start out first. He's
just as much a character, honestly.
I mean, he's I'm sure he showed up. So next up is our makeup department. Steve Fiorilla, Till Death Do We Scare, Saturday the 14th, an episode of Tales from the Crypt, but he did props on that. He also had a special thanks in Night Beast, which is another notoriously kind of
I was going to ask about
terrible movie. Have you seen any images from it?
I did.
You've definitely seen clips of that bad boy out there in the world.
Yeah, in the wild.
In the wild where it belongs. I was going to actually move on from there to our cast, but we got some time. So let's go ahead and cover that editor. Let me pull up these notes. Let me pull up these notes real quick.
So much.
Here we go. Film editor. And then was he also the producer? Yeah, Mark Frizzell. Yeah, because it was a lot of like the reasoning for completing the film was on him. So why not give him some credits?
I know.
As a producer and actor, he had Tyrannosaurus Rex last year.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was like, that's why I wanted to bring it up.
And then he was himself in something called Sweat and Persistence. And I was like, you can't say that they didn't have persistence in completing Winterbeast because they weren't going to let continuity get in their way.
Did you look at the images from Tyrannosaurus Rex?
No, I didn't. Is there anything cool in it?
It is very strange.
I can't imagine something being called Tyrannosaurus Rex being weird.
Yeah, it's
pretty
weird.
Okay. So it's black and white, set in 1918. Yeah. Well, that's sometimes in color even. Okay. Wow. All right. Well, that's a worthwhile digression. All right. Well, that's all I had for the crew. I'm going to move on to the cast unless you have objections.
Sure.
Let's start out with our main character, who we, like the movie Boyhood, follow throughout years of his life. Sergeant Bill Whitman is played by Tim R. Morgan. His other credits include, I don't know, he probably had a regular job because this was it for him in the industry. Moving on to his unprofessional sidekick, Ranger Stillman, as played by Mike Magri. The only other credit he had was something called He Wears Sunglasses at Night, where he played himself. I'm like, but he also wears his sunglasses at night during this.
I was going to say, yeah. So, like, that must be his thing.
Yeah. Him and what? Corey Hart.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh my God.
Those are the only two.
He's like a Corey Hart tribute band.
Sure. Next up is going to be their third partner in crime who follows them around and helps them with this and does research for them, but also runs a local store, which is Charlie.
The haberdashery.
Sure, a certain kind. Charlie Perkins is played by Charles Majka. He had The Polka King and I saw it in a dream. The latter he played himself. So wondering what that is. Moving on to a man who steals the show in one specific scene he's in, and some others too, is Dave Sheldon, as played by Bob Harlow. This is it for him too. So,
which is a crime.
This man should have been.
This is like high Pike level acting.
This is true cinema. His acting.
This guy saves this entire film. We'll get into it later.
I know he's a student of the Stanislavski method. You can tell that he's really put in the hours at the community theater.
Yeah.
So moving on from Dave, we have Ranger Bradford. That's how she's credited, but we know in the movie her name is Sally Bradford, as played by Lissa Breer. This is it. This is it for her. So, okay. Moving on to Barbara, Charlie's somewhat girlfriend, maybe, as played by Dory Mae Kelly. It says here in the notes, this is it. So that's it for her. Let's move on to another Ranger who appears in, I think, flashbacks, or maybe not flashbacks.
We don't know.
Slappy Tello, as played by David Mika. It says here, this is it. This is all he's got.
But he was credited as the same spelling as Charles, though. Do you notice that?
What do you mean?
In the movie, his credit was David Majka, the same as Charles.
Oh, yeah, a bunch of the credits were wrong.
Right.
I think that they also did Lissa Breer, and they did Dory Mae Kelly wrong, too. I know you want me to talk about how many people were credited incorrectly, even though
they called her Lissa Breer.
Yeah, instead of Lissa.
Yeah.
And yeah, even though some of them, this is their only credit, they still got them spelled wrong in it. But all right, sure. There you go. Slappy Tello. Moving on to Dick Sargent, as played by Bill McLeod. Oh, Shane, you'll never believe this. This is it for Dick Sargent. So one salute to old Dick. Next up is the Winterbeast, as played by Chris Lenge. He has some credits. He was a producer on Floating, I Binky Bedwetter, Something Between Us. He was a TV coordinator, it says, on Andromeda, and a post-production assistant on Living with Fran and Windfall. So he may have interacted with Fran Drescher on the former of those two. And I guess he could have hung out with, on Andromeda, what's that actor's name? The one who's in Hercules: The Legendary Journeys, and now he's like
Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah, he's like a huge right wing like right wing influencer and stuff. Like he's really fallen off. But he might have hung out with Kevin Sorbo before he got weird.
He might have.
Yeah. So there you go.
Maybe during.
Yeah, maybe he's part of it actually. So there you go. That's it for Chris Lenge. But that's like it for named people. There's a bunch of people who are additional cast. I can run through them. I don't think any of them had any other credits though. I think I checked.
There is one.
Is there one? All right. Well,
yeah.
Do you want to say who that one is, or do you want me to start running through?
Stephanie Rabinowitz. She worked on the Ren and Stimpy show.
Okay.
As additional crew. I don't know what that. She was a production assistant for Spunko.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the people that are credited as like additional cast are like, just run through them. It's not like we haven't like are losing on too much time on this. Chris Waldron, Sabine Sigicelli, Mike Tipping, Bob Doucette, Virginia Connors, Tracy Kennedy, Regina Birch, Jennifer Dallas, Nancy Smilgus, Paula Bruno, Pete Del Vecchio, Kevin McGuire, Daniel Gewirtz, Stephanie Rabinowitz, like you said, Heidi Harmon, and Marilyn Myers.
So Heidi Harmon was in a docu-series called The Sally House, a Robbie Thomas investigation featuring Michael Esposito. She played a psychic, so she's apparently gifted.
Oh man, get her a star on the Walk of Fame, bro. She's in two things. Watch out.
Yep.
The stars have all gone out, for they are on the screen and not in the sky. All right. Well, that's all we had for the cast and crew of Winterbeast. What a fly by night production. I'm wondering if not to show our hand too soon.
Okay.
But I'm wondering if, like the makeup department guy, Steve Fiorella, did he do like the claymation stuff? Because I didn't see anyone else that could have been it in the crew.
I wonder if they're just like, hey, Steve, check his shit out.
Like, yeah, text him, Steve.
I don't
Steve,
know.
was it you? Because there's a significant amount of claymation in this, like stop motion animation, like too much, in fact. So
I thought that it probably would have been the cinematography team.
really,
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know. And no offense, it could have been that Mark Frizzell guy or Frizzle.
it could be because he seems like he's very involved.
Yeah.
So
because
for like the cinematography team, we have Bob Goodness, who only has this credit, and then Craig B. Matheson, which has this, and then something called Love Street, where he was an editor. That was it.
So the only thing that's making me think it's that Frizzell guy is if you look at Tyrannosaurus Rex, that has a bunch of stop motion dinosaurs in it. So if he's doing claymation and stop motion with that, I could see maybe him being involved in that world, which is how he got into Tyrannosaurus Rex. I'm taking some leaps here, folks, because apparently they couldn't write shit down. There, and probably the sad thing is there probably was someone that did this and he didn't credit them.
Oh no, I actually found it. If you can trust the IMDb trivia. Originally, the filmmakers imagined the Winterbeast to be a stop-motion creature. This became a guy in a costume, of which some footage was shot. When the film fell apart, producer Mark Frizzell did the stop-motion bits between his gigs at his day job at Olive Jar Animation to fill in the missing monster footage. So over the years, he was like doing like in between gigs, was doing like these like stop-motion bits. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Also, another fun fact that is kind of obvious if you think about it, but it's kind of funny. The totem pole monster and then the skeleton head that rips out of
the same monster, right?
No. Those two props, they're two separate props because the totem pole monster is a separate prop.
Oh, I saw that the Dawkins.
They're from a Dawkins music video burning like a flame.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, cool. I mean, you can kind of tell from the skeleton head that busts out of the dude's guts because it has like metal head hair. It's like, what are you up to, dude? But yeah, that was super funny. And that is it. Cool. The only other thing is I guess I could bring it up here if you think it's the appropriate place to bring it up, but let me run it by you. But some of the mythology in this that they don't really explain, but is clearly hovering in the background, I figured out what some of it was kind of on accident. Because I looked up...
Was it Wendigo?
It's the mountain, Mount Chikura in New Hampshire, which is where this takes place.
Okay. Let's do it. Let's get into it.
So they talk in this about like, oh, those old, like they say Indian stories. Like we in a more enlightened age would say Native American stories. They talk a lot about it, but they never tell you what the story is, except someone mentions like, it's a gate to hell. And the local tribes would try to keep people from, going there and making it, happen, like making the hell stuff happen. But they also talk more just about like curses and stuff like that. So apparently, Chikura, like in like an unsubstantiated legend, was like a guy, like he was I can't remember what tribe he was supposed to have been a part of, but he was apparently living in the mountain at the time when white settlers had moved in, and allegedly he had a friendly relationship with this family called the Campbells. He let them watch his son while he was off doing stuff. His son got into some like rat poison and died accidentally. And then Chikura took revenge by like killing Campbell's wife and his children. And then like they took revenge and then...
Oh, that was the gravestone, right?
No, the gravestone... Let's get into the gravestone later. It's very important to the story.
Okay.
But no.
Okay.
They never reference directly this story.
I thought the guy's name was Reverend Campbell on the gravestone.
No, it's Dave's last name, whatever Dave's last name is, because he's Dave's...
Sheldon.
Yeah,
you're right. Reverend Sheldon.
Yeah.
You're right.
But yeah,
Sorry.
So the allegedly though, supposedly after Chikura died, there was like this curse that like got cattle sick in the area, which I guess really happened. But the reason for the cattle getting sick had nothing to do with the curse. It was something was wrong with the water. Like some like
was it because the director of the health Health. The Department of Health and Safety or whatever.
It's because the Supreme Court ruled that you could put more shit into your water supply for some reason.
Right.
Does that make
Is that what
yeah, that's the kind of deregulation everyone
Hey, you know
wants.
what I said of these? You know what I say about these Native Americans? All these curses, right?
What's that?
We just deport them, send them back to where they came from.
Oh, Shane, I have terrible news.
What?
It's here. This is where.
Oh no! Does Trump know?
I'm sure he doesn't. But yeah, there was actually like a reason for it. Like I don't know,
half our listeners.
Whatever, they can go. But like the curse apparently was actually just like something went wrong with the water table and like made livestock sick. It wasn't a real curse, but
sure,
because of that, it kind of took on a life of its own. The problem is no one knows if Chikura was a real person, because Chikura in the language of the tribe just means like mountains or something like that, like rugged or something like that. They said it. Oh yeah, here it's probably an Algonquin word that means rocky home of the water serpent. So
gotcha.
Yeah, so the odds are that the entire Chikura legend, like with the conflict with settlers, is probably just fake stuff, just a local legend and everything. But that's part of the background of this, is like it kind of borrows some of like the Native American history with the area and then uses it as shorthand, but never really explains it, which is a very funny idea that the movie just never gets into. But it's largely apocryphal in real life, not actual curses.
Cool.
Is what I'm trying to say.
I love it.
All right. So the audience couldn't see this because this is an audio medium, but we're on video, and Shane was just nodding. I'm like, are you going to say something? Are you just going to keep nodding? No one can see that.
Yeah, we're, as Molly Hatchet says, we're flirting with disaster on the cameras.
How often are you going to bring up Molly Hatchet on this podcast?
I don't know. Not enough. Yeah. Well, I think we are trying to make up for what is going to be a 64-minute or 70-minute video or movie.
These are the shortest number of pages and notes that I've ever had in an episode.
And I'm going to tell you folks, even if we went through scene by scene describing you in depth, I don't think it would take us 74 minutes. So, because there's just it just makes absolutely no sense of what's kind of going on. So I'm excited to hear your take on some of these things. I can't wait to get to a certain scene that I think you know what I'm talking about, and I can't wait to talk about it. So I
think I do. Yeah, now that you've kind of
onward
primed me for it. Yeah, so shall we get into the plot description of Winterbeast? Ooh. So moving on to,
there was one scene, right, where there was snow.
They're true, yeah, and
in the beginning, but it's a dream, isn't it?
No. Well, okay, we'll get there. Hold on.
Or is it? Okay,
it's somebody who's higher
there
in the mountain. That's probably what it's meant to designate.
Yeah,
but
sure.
So okay, opening credits. Some banger tunes, but it sounds like, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like whenever you like put a tape into your boombox and then you record the radio through it.
Yeah.
Like the song's good, but like the master is not.
Someone like took the audio, was like, you know what would sound great? Let's re-record it through a smaller speaker.
Let's just run this through a couple more times with a speaker with less range.
Let's triple track this.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like that. So yeah, like bad quality, but still bop. But yeah, the credits are just your basic like white letters on black screen. The only thing that's stylized is just the title Winterbeast, which looks like they spent all their font money on that. But hey, let's just get to our first scene here, because it's not going to make a lot of sense. We see our head ranger guy, Bill Whitman. He's approaching a coworker, Slappy Tello. You know that because he greets him as Tello. But what's wrong with Slappy Tello, Shane? He's got a rotted face and he looks all gross. So Bill screams, Then we get a weird stop motion corpse monster that stands up in the background and just starts waving its arms around. It also has tentacles for arms. I should have mentioned that. That's an important detail that will never come up again. Bill screams some more while his like corpseified buddy Tello is reaching into a hole in his shirt and ripping out parts of his skin from it, because it's not the first time or not the only time in this movie someone's going to be reaching in and
it's like a running theme.
Pulling some flesh off of something.
They're really into, hey, what if I put my fingers in here?
Yeah, like what happens if I put my hand
like
in
if there's a theme to this movie, it's
if there's a theme, that would be the one. But then anyways, our man Bill wakes up from what we now know is a dream, and I'm sure we could have been able to tell that by the weird lighting and the abrupt entry into the previous scene. But then we suddenly cut for no reason to our man Tello. He's a human, except now he's dying for real as a skull with long hair busts out of his stomach. It's the Dawkins skull. Yeah, just like while he's sitting next to a tree. Don't worry, we're going to get context on that later, sort of. Not really, but kind of.
Hey, they'll just show it again.
They'll show it longer, and then we'll see what it turned into. It turned into the...
Right.
Well, hold on. No spoilers.
Yeah, we'll get there. Yeah. No spoilers here.
No spoilers for Winterbeast. Anyways, we cut abruptly again to a ranger station that looks like a kind of crappy room. We see Ranger Stillman, who is sitting there looking at pornographic magazine and showing it to another man there who we'll later learn is Dick Sargent, who's waiting with him. It's like, oh, it seems like a really professional environment. So he's like, hey, how do you like this one? And the guy's like, oh, it's good. He's like, yeah, I thought you'd like that. I'm like, what?
Yeah, you would.
Yeah, and I was like, what are you talking about? You showed him this like nude magazine, like he didn't ask you to. Then hearing that Bill is approaching, Stillman puts the magazine down and greets Bill at the door. He explains that Tello is missing and that Ranger Sally Bradford is in a state in the station. So apparently Dick Sargent had found Bradford and brought her to the office. That's about the most we know right now. Stillman, being the consummate professional, he thinks there's something suspicious about Dick Sargent, who is the one who brought Sally there. He thinks that maybe he's the one who did something to Tello. And he suggested Tello's being given the deliverance treatment back in the forest somewhere.
Squealing like a piggy.
Yeah, he's squealing like a piggy. But like, Bill, being half professional sometimes, is like, hey, I'm going to go talk to Sally, BRB. So he dips. Dick asks for a match, and Stillman gives him a lighter, and then he lights up a cigarette. But, Stillman goes back to his magazine. Stillman's being like really mean to Dick, which we know it's because he thinks he's a deliverance person. But he suggests, so this is one of those like, hey, this doesn't age well in the modern era. Sure. So he, what is it? So Dick suggests that maybe Stillman is homosexual, despite the fact that he's looking at naked women in a magazine. And then Stillman says that Dick looks like a lesbian he once knew. And I'm like, what? I don't even, like, it's so hard to follow this entire train of logic and thought. Is like, is this what passes for humor in 1985, 1989, or 1992?
Be fair, he did have sunglasses on.
He did have sunglasses on, so that's how you know he's cool. So I guess we'll let him pass.
I'm pretty sure it was nighttime.
Let him slide. It's impossible to tell when it's nighttime. So yeah, Bill's in there talking to Sally. He asks her, what happened up in the mountain. She says nothing, but it's like, okay, then where's Tello, dude? But then she says that she doesn't like the place where they were because it is quiet and dead. And then I guess Bill's like, well, that's enough of this. And he leaves and goes to talk to Dick Sargent, asks him where he found Sally, and is apparently near the old lodge, which we'll come to know is the Wild Goose Lodge, which is a secondary character in this thing. And since he's short-staffed, Bill asks if Dick would mind helping Stillman locate wherever the location is that he found Sally the next day. And then he uses the opportunity of asking for a favor to question Dick further, asking him what he does around town, which is apparently he runs a small canoe rental business. So Stillman asks then Stillman says, oh, so it is like Deliverance, because a canoe is featured in it.
The canoe, yeah. Solid.
Yeah. But then, Dick agrees to meet with Stillman at the bait and breakfast at dawn the following day. Stillman makes what I guess is supposed to pass as another joke where he's like, if I can't find it, I guess I'll follow the hungry fisherman. Oh yeah, because what does he say? He's like, that's a place that sells eggs and worms, right? He's like, yeah, dude. Like that's what they sell at the bait and breakfast. But then when Dick goes to leave, Bill notices he's got blood on him. So he's like, asks if he's hurt himself. And Dick's like, oh, I was hunting. He tries to like cover up the blood stain. And then like, in order to make it even more ominous, Bill's like, oh, so what do you hunt? He's like, whatever I can find. And then Stillman's like, ooh. And then Dick leaves. So it's the second and last time we'll see Dick. So get used to it. Get your fill now while you can.
Yeah. Draw a picture.
So we get some more of what I guess is supposed to pass as character development, where Stillman is saying that he doesn't like the the ranger station, and Bill's like, "Oh, it's just old." It's like, "Yeah, it is old, dude. It looks like it's barely held together." Stillman says he found some old brochures in one of the desks, and he just hands Bill another porn magazine. I was like, "What? That's not a brochure. Like, stop leafing through nudie magazines." But Bill does. I was like, "Oh man, Bill, you're supposed to be the professional one of these two." Then Stillman says that the place must have been pretty poppin' back in the 50s. It's like, why does the presence of pornographic magazines in an isolated place tell you that it was poppin'? It seems like it's the opposite of that. So after some additional conversation, Bill asks why Stillman even got into ranger work, because he definitely doesn't seem cut out for it, which we as the audience have to agree. Stillman says he thought it'd be a good way to meet women. He's like, in what way would like being a ranger be a good way to meet women? Like, seems patrolling large tracts of public land alone doesn't seem like a good way to meet anybody. So then after talking more to Bill about his, like, Bill is from the area, so he knows some people. He's like, oh, I'm gonna look up a local friend of mine. And someone's like, when you look him up, ask him where he goes to party, basically, because like Stillman's looking for his nightlife. Then Stillman offers Bill some of his whiskey, which Bill takes because, again, he's also not particularly professional. So he takes a shot of the whiskey. He like coughs. He's like, what is this? And then Stillman's like, it's the baddest. I don't pay for that top shelf stuff. Then Bill tells Stillman that there's still a place open on the mountain, which is the Wild Goose Lodge, which we'd already heard about the lodge earlier. So after briefly explaining that the son of the previous owner reopened it after the father passed away, Stillman suggests that maybe Tello is at the lodge. Bill's kind of dismissive of that idea, but he's like, well, and they ask who's coming on for the next shift. They say Aiken and Rickman, which we never hear about Aiken and Rickman ever again, except that later on Rickman goes missing off screen. And then Bill decides, hey, we should go to the lodge after they arrive. Then what is it? Bill compliments Stillman's playing cards, which of course are playing cards with naked women on it, because that's all Stillman has. His personality trait is he's the resident bad boy, wearing his sunglasses at night and having his nudie magazines on the job. I was actually wondering when I was going through this, is like, so did like Trump and Musk watch this and then they're like, oh yeah, Rangers don't do anything, let's fire them all? And that's why they decided to fire all of our park rangers?
I think that was the plan.
They thought that Winterbeast was based off of true events?
It's a true. I mean, if you watched it, you would think that too.
I mean, you'd have to. These guys are terrible at their jobs.
Yeah. You know how many tree monsters I've seen?
I was more talking about how in real life, a bunch of our park rangers have been fired unceremoniously and inappropriately. But yeah, sure. Tree monsters too. Definitely a real threat. Actually, why don't we want more forest rangers if we have tree monsters running around out there. Speaking of tree monsters, abrupt cut to a woman in some cabin. She begins to disrobe. Meanwhile, outside, we see a pretty terrible looking stop motion tree monster walking out of the woods, roaring, knocking over a sign, having just a time. The woman, now topless, seems to hear the creature. She goes to look out the window, but she doesn't see anything. So she moves away from the window to allow the stop motion effects to take over. And then we get the creature approach to the window and then break into the window. And we get a very fake looking hand that doesn't even look like the tree monster's hand reaching into the window as she screams like crazy about it. Luckily, the scene ends more abruptly than I expected and more terribly when the hand grabs her. And then we cut to a long stop motion shot of her now in stop motion, and she doesn't even look like her anymore. She's like a claymation version of her, and he just like smashes her against the wall, and then she's dead. So there you go, it's over. What a scene. Any commentary on this?
Yeah, I found it. Look. I don't know is it too small?
Yeah, I see it. It just like takes out. It's like
unbelievable. Yeah, it just smashed her. And then like the stop motion puppet has clothes on.
Yes, true. So. Yeah. Like there's no time for continuity, even though it's apparently Frizzell had done it over years. But no, there's no time for continuity here. Plus, he never knew if he was going to ever finish the movie, so probably didn't even care.
To be fair, the stop motion monsters, some of them looked really cool.
I actually don't have a problem with all of them. Some of them are pretty cool looking.
Like even like, but it's like when they move, it was kind of weird. But like if you look at that tree guy like by himself, it looks pretty legit.
Yeah, it's fine.
Kind of looks like a Tool music video. I don't know if you remember those like from back in the day.
I'm not a big Tool fan, so I don't know them, but I'll take your word for it.
Thank you.
All right, smash cut to automobile time. Bill and Stillman are driving up the road, arriving at the Wild Goose Lodge. They go in looking around the foyer area for some reason, even though there's definitely the sound of people laughing elsewhere. And Stillman apparently is the only one who hears it, so they go in, and then we get our first introduction to Dave Sheldon, who's doing like the end of a joke, making fun of a fat lady. There's like something like, and her sister's even fatter, or something like that. It's like one of those jokes, like a joke that's like, oh, cool, like we get it, like that's comedy. And everyone laughs. So Bill goes to talk to Dave while Stillman says he's going to have a look around the place. So Dave Sheldon seems to think that Bill is there because they didn't get a permit for a toaster raffle.
Yeah.
But then we, get in this is the first of many times. So I don't know if I made note of it every time, but this is the first of many times that the footage shifted to older footage. Like this is clearly footage that was shot like 7 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Like that's the funniest part is whenever the footage changes, like the quality changes, and because they shot it on different tape, but they don't even bother to have everyone wear the same clothes or have the same hairstyle. Like whenever we cut to the older stuff, like Bill's hair is shorter and Dave Sheldon's hair is shorter. Like everyone's hair is different. Their clothes are different, but they do it between scenes. It's so funny whenever it happens. Like, whoa, did I just like warp into another dimension? But yeah, so basically there's so many scenes between Bill and Dave that kind of just amount to them arguing about stuff.
Yeah.
Dave is this time asking about Tello being missing. Bill wants Dave to put signs out that discourage hiking. And Dave's like, well, that's a bit premature, isn't it? Let's give it another day for, I guess Tello to stop being missing. So he doesn't want to do it. It's basically setting him up for one of those well-worn things of like Mayor from Jaws kind of deal where no one wants like the person in, even though we never really understand, and this is, I can bring it up later, but we never really understand what Dave Sheldon's like power is. He seems to have power, but like, as far as we are told, he's just the guy who owns the lodge.
I thought his power, I thought he didn't have power. He was
no, because he brings up how later on, he's going to bring up how Bill, maybe making Bill the head ranger was a mistake or something. So he had a role in it. So I'm like, he's not the mayor.
Oh, you mean like in town? Yeah. I'm sorry. I thought you meant like supernatural powers.
Oh no, I didn't want to give away that may or may not come up later, but
yeah, that's why I thought you were talking about.
Show your hand now.
Yeah.
But
really.
But no, so
I wish they would have.
Well, it wouldn't be as abrupt when it happens later. But like, yeah, he's like constantly arguing about like Bill wanting to stop people from hiking and wanting to shut down the lodge and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like the lodge, I'd understand. He doesn't want to shut it down. That's his business. But he also is like, well, you can't shut down the trails. You don't have the authority. Like he doesn't. He's the head ranger. What are you talking about? That's exactly his purview. But no time to get into that because we cut to Stillman talking to an older lady, telling her about his like employment history. And she's very eager to leave this conversation. And so her and her husband like get out and dip to go to their room. And I was like, what does Stillman do? Like, what is he up to here? I didn't understand what he was up to that scene, like talking up these old people. Then like Stillman asks a waiter who's coming by, like, how do you get a drink in this roach motel? And the waiter hands him an empty bottle, which is funny. It's like not supposed to be. And then for some reason the waiter laughs. There was like, that scene should have been edited out, but it wasn't. It was like clearly a blooper. So then elsewhere in the lodge, it's hard to tell where, because these scenes are mostly stagnant, like pre-rendered Resident Evil style scenes, like where you only get like a single fixed camera angle on any given area. Two random guys start having a fight for basically no reason.
Like at
yes,
all?
they
Like none.
yeah. So one guy's like, "Well, if we weren't, maybe you don't have to be a jerk." He's like, "How about we fight?" And then they just start fighting. They knock over a table. They almost knock over they do knock over the waiter, right? Yeah, the waiter falls because the waiter isn't in contact with them. He's just nearby, and he falls over. Dave Sheldon's yelling, "What's going on here?" Even though it's a fight, Dave. This can't be your first rodeo. But then Stillman asks, Bill what Dave said, and Bill's like, he doesn't seem that concerned. And then this is when they're walking outside, and it's revealed that Stillman won the toaster. It's like, oh, thank God we had, Chekhov's toaster. Even though the toaster was mentioned, it wasn't even shown, and somehow Stillman won it in the short time they were there. Then we have another one of those cuts to continuity that cuts to continuity in a parallel universe where it's supposed to be dawn, but it's very clearly midday. Stillman's meeting up with Dick Sargent. Stillman says he's sorry he's a little bit late, and Dick seems fine with it and asks if he wants a cup of coffee. Stillman's like, no, I already had 3 cups of coffee. And it's like, well, then why are you so late, dude? Well, you didn't sit around drinking coffee for 12 hours. But he's like, Stillman wants to get the search on. And Dick's like, well, give me a minute to finish my coffee and cigarette. And then they do set off. It was like a lot of dialogue for basically no reason. We get a cut to some sick tunes as the vehicle is driving through the town. We see the souvenir shop, which has a lot of depictions of Native Americans that, may be offensive in the context of there.
It would alarm you.
Yeah, like a lot of them. And now, Shane, does a Native American person own that general store and souvenir shop?
No, I'm pretty sure he's from New York.
Yeah, Charlie Perkins. I don't think I don't think that he's definitely not from a native tribe. That much I'm sure of.
Yeah.
And anyways, Bill is there. He's looking for clues. Oh, by the way, the person who was driving through town to the Sick Tunes was Bill. You don't know that till he gets to the store because, again, the continuity in this is bizarre. But hey, no time to think about that. We have to cut to Stillman and Dick in the woods. They come upon a series of 3 totem poles that have like a human skeleton attached to the center one. They will constantly refer to this as a single totem pole, but there are definitely 3 of them. But yeah, so then suddenly it cuts to, I guess, later, because Stillman is walking once more to the totem poles, this time leading Bill, Sally, and Charlie Perkins to the site. And Dick Sargent is gone, and he's gone from the movie. That was it. That was all the Dick Sargent you get.
So I felt like they've messed up editing here and just put this in the wrong spot.
Yeah, well, at least like there should have been something to mark that time had passed and he was returning to the site later with other people. Like maybe a comment where he says, "Hey, Dick Sargent, thanks for your time. I'm going to go back and get other people to show to this, and you're free to go about your business." And then that would be the end of the scene. At least that would tell us that now we're later and he's showing up with other people and Dick Sargent's just gone.
Some of the scenes look like they just spliced in like 30 seconds of one thing.
Yes.
And then the shot before it continues with the shot after that. Almost like how Family Guy kind of runs. You know how it just has like that weird, like, I don't know what they call it, where it just cuts away really fast to one thing happening. It's like and then it cuts
a non
back.
sequitur. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Non sequitur.
Yeah. Thanks. So there's a lot of like, yeah, basically the way that,
which was not their intention, by the way.
I can't imagine it was, but it's just one of those things like where there's something missing in like understanding how film communicates, that they kept like doing these situations where, and we cut to this, and like now it's night and now this person's outfit is different. And it's like, whoa, okay, chill out, dude. Like, didn't you have a continuity person on this? It was like, oh wait, no.
Have you read?
Because we saw the credits.
Have you ever had a 4-year-old try to tell you a story?
Yes.
This is how that movie's edited.
Yes, true. Yeah.
Like, it's just like,
you're getting the broad swaths of something that definitely is coherent, but the way that it's told is not coherent.
Or like Drunk History, like when they do like when they're like editing while they're talking, and then like in the like what you're watching them, like they just like the person just like disappears or just shows up. I feel like that's kind of what we're dealing with.
Yeah,
here.
this one definitely happened that way. Yeah, so anyways, yeah, so Stillman shows up with Bill, Sally, Charlie Perkins. Bill's having a moment saying that he saw this in a dream. It's like, I saw the dream. That wasn't in the dream, dude. But Sally says that they should get the hell out of here, which, you're right, Sally, but she won't heed her own advice later. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Perkins says, okay, so I call him Perkins in my notes now, but I know later in my notes I'm going to call him Charlie. So let me rewind that. So Charlie says that this is a sacrifice of some kind. Stillman asks to what, and Perkins says to Chikura, which is the mountain's name, but he's also somewhat talking about like a legendary figure, Chikura, like a little bit of both. So Sally still wants to leave and is pretty vocal about it, but Charlie is too busy taking photos. Then Bill is asking Charlie if he thinks he's crazy, saying that he dreamed this and all that. And Charlie's like, no, I believe you. And then Bill's like, you believe me? You must be crazy. He's like, don't gaslight your buddy because he trusted you. Now it's like, oh, you must be the crazy one now. Anyways, Bill goes to what is it? Talk to his fellow Rangers or whatever. He goes to talk to Stillman anyways. He talks to Stillman and Sally. So Stillman suggests tearing the totem down. Sally insists that something's just wrong and it's an ill omen and something terrible is going to happen. And it's like, I think both of them could be right. I don't see how these are opposing like ideas. Like, yes, you should tear the totem down totally. And also it could be the harbinger of something evil. Perhaps a Winterbeast even. You never know. Hey, Shane, it could be a Winterbeast.
Hey, goes to show you never can tell.
Hey, no time to talk about that. We have an abrupt cut to an apple cider bar outside of the Wild Goose Lodge.
Sure do.
Yeah, Bill is there now. I think he's younger again. And he's talking to Dave Sheldon once more. Oh, no, this one, I think it changes in the middle of their conversation again.
Yes. It does.
So, and then, yeah, Dave says that he's booked solid for 2 weeks. So he can't help Bill look for his missing ranger. And then Dave says that he wants to keep all the disturbing findings of like this skeleton totem in the woods and all that from the guests. And he says that the guests will be fine if they stick to the trail markers. And this is when Bill's like, but there aren't trail markers because that's what Tello was doing in the woods, was putting out the trail markers when he disappeared. But also like, I was kind of confused in this because I thought, because Bill keeps saying that he needs Dave's help. He needs him to help him. But what he wants is Dave to shut down the trails and to shut down the lodge. He doesn't want him to help him, but he keeps saying help him. I'm like, I guess it's kind of helping him, as if you keep people out of danger, keep them from being underfoot. I guess that is helpful, but it's just such a weird way to phrase it.
Yeah, I think he's looking for compliance rather than assistance.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair. But don't worry, we're going to have another abrupt cut to Bill talking to Sally. She tells him that she's lived in the area her whole life. So he wants to know if she can direct him to a hunting guide or something to help him locate Tello. Which is also another problem with continuity because he is from the area from earlier. That was already established now, and it'll be reestablished later. But she says that people don't venture up Chikura anymore because of all the stories. She talks about the story of 2 hunters that went up to the mountain and got found torn apart. Bill's not buying it. He says that those are just old Indian legends. It's like, well, chill out, dude. Because you're also the one trying to push them to close this down because of, that's the other thing is like, which side are you on now, Bill? If you don't believe in these old legends, but you do want them to shut down the trails. But Sally's like, hey, there's definitely something up there. Like we can all feel it. So no time to linger on that because again, the editing doesn't give you much room to breathe. So we get a smash cut to nighttime. We see Bill holding a lantern. He's leading Charlie and Stillman into the woods. They see a sign that says "No something," I don't know if it was like...
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
I don't know what it's supposed to say. It looks like it says something inappropriate, but it's hard to say because...
Well, it's no CKING.
Yeah, so like what did it originally say? But the sign, that part of the sign is ripped, like a chunk of it is ripped off to see the first part of the word. And Stillman's like, I'd like to get my hands on the kids that did this. And Charlie's like, kids with claws? Because it clearly was ripped down by claws. But Bill, again, is like, I'm not on board with your tall monster tales. And then Charlie's like, this is serious and I mean it. So Charlie is like, he's getting to be the one who believes in all this supernatural mumbo jumbo. Bill's like, no, we got a real threat, not a monster. It's like, well, it could be a bear. Based off of my time playing Avowed, bears are a serious threat.
They are.
Then we get a sudden musical sting whenever Charlie says, like, this is serious, and I mean it. It's like, dong. It's like, oh, okay. Thanks for that one.
See, didn't you hear that? He means it.
No, he meant it. So Bill at this point keeps saying he has 2 missing people. Is like, does he though? It's just Tello. Unless he's including the woman who was torn out of the cabin and smashed against the wall in stop motion claymation form.
But do they know that?
I don't know if they know that. But his account of the number of missing people he has keeps changing throughout the movie.
Well, so I thought they were referring to that other ranger that they never...
Slappy Tello's the only one that's missing right now, though.
I thought, well, didn't they? Wasn't there another person they referred to, like briefly, that you never see?
Oh, was it either Aiken or the other one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mentioned them earlier.
Okay.
But I don't... Yeah, maybe he mentioned that one of the other ones also was, like, nowhere to be found.
So who gets their head... Like, I know we're jumping ahead here. Who gets their head ripped off by that weird alien monster?
That's just a guy, I think.
But he was in, like, fatigues. He was in, like, a ranger outfit.
But yeah, I think he's just a guy... Well, he wasn't
just
in fatigues. Dude. He was in camo. I think he was just like right. Maybe a hunter, maybe a woodsman, outdoorsman.
Okay, so there was no, like, correlation to anything?
No, not at all. He was just another random victim of random monster attacks.
Got it. Yeah, I don't know who the other missing person is.
Yeah, we don't have time to think about that. Because we're going to cut to...
Well, technically,
what?
It's Dick Sargent.
That's not Dick Sargent, is it?
No, that's missing. He just isn't there anymore.
Oh, yeah. Well, Dick Sargent's missing to us, but I don't know if he's missing to them. He might have just left in between scenes.
Right.
So we cut to the general store, the trading post that Charlie owns. Charlie's talking about an old Algonquin friend of his, Burning Wolf, who provided him with a box of charms that were made by a medicine man from the remains of a warrior allegedly killed by Chikura. So this is another time where the version of Chikura they're saying doesn't coincide with the legends of Chikura from New Hampshire. So it's like a different kind of Chikura. So they're referring to Chikura as like a supernatural force, not like a legendary possible guy who cursed people. So
sure.
Hold on tight. Bill is surprised that Burning Wolf would give it up, but Charlie says that he believes that he was passing it to him for a purpose, that it was like fated to happen. But no time to think about that. We have to cut to the woods where we have 2 female hikers in the forest, walking on what is clearly not a trail. They're just walking randomly.
They only had markers.
If only there were trail markers. Slappy, Tello, what you did? One of them finds like a suitcase or something on the ground that has stickers on it. One of the stickers, Shane, is from the Wild Goose Lodge. Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum.
And if you're wondering, does this constitute foreshadowing? Just this random sticker on this thing? It's about as much as we get. So you better be thinking of it as foreshadowing.
And also, if you're wondering if there's a weird book that says bend over that's shown a bunch of times, the answer is yes.
There certainly is. Now that's some accelerated reading. But yeah, so out of nowhere, there's an earthquake, or at least like the ground is shaking. It's kind of hard to tell how much it's shaking. And suddenly out of the ground pops like a monster with like big bulbous eyes. It looks like one of those like weird lurky monsters from Land of the Lost. Do you ever remember? Yeah, remember them? Yeah,
yes.
It looks a lot like that.
Yes.
Like almost like so much so that I feel like this is an homage to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the one woman gets attacked and dragged away off screen to presumably be killed, and then the other one gets dragged away off screen too. So like not very impressive deaths, but both of them get killed. Why one of them didn't, I don't know, flee while the other one was getting attacked? Because she certainly wasn't helping her fight back, but we don't see enough of the details of what went down to really understand. Back to the general store. We see Charlie hanging out next to a model of a Native American warrior, like a big like wood carving or something. But Charlie departs and heads back up to the 3 totem poles, which the skeleton. So he's taking more photos. I honestly, this is one of the many scenes that makes me believe that that's like literally up the road from his store. Like it seems like it's like right
within walking
it's
distance.
like right next door.
Yeah.
But
it's like, are they his totem poles?
what?
Like, it's how close they are. Are they
Yeah,
like
they
his?
in the
Charlie?
backyard of his trading post. So they must be. We cut to the Sargent Lakeshore cottages. Fun call back to our man Dick Sargent. So here's where Bill and Charlie, which again, like now Bill's here. Bill and Charlie are leaving the gift shop, which apparently has a place to develop photos, because Charlie went there to have the photo development rushed. They take a look at them, and I guess they don't see anything of note because they don't really talk about it. They're just like, look at that. Those are the poles we saw.
Well, that happens all the time, though. There was like another one. It's like, oh no, look at this. I told him not to go up there, and there's just like no.
What did you see? What?
Well, yeah. What was on the paper? Like, was it?
Yeah, because
oh no, demons.
Yeah, because I can't tell like if they saw anything of note. But Bill like goes to head off, and Charlie's like, "Hey, I'm taking Barbara to the diner later tonight, so meet us there or whatever." And Bill's like, "Okay," and then leaves. I'm like, "Oh man, we won't be seated while they make goddamn dinner plans. Like, what is this?
Yeah,
this is worth like." We have the most abrupt cuts of all time, but we're going to listen to them plan their rendezvous at the diner later. But no time to think about that. We're going to smash cut to the Newberry Public Library, where Bill is once again approaching Dave Sheldon, this time as Dave's sitting in his comfy chair in the corner of the library where he has a standing appointment, I guess, to sit and read books. So yeah, Dave is he wants to show Dave the pictures of the totem poles and the skeleton. Dave's like, I'm not interested in any of this. But Bill's like, well, I want you to look at them. And then after a review of them, Dave's like, what is this supposed to be? Although he does seem like he's somewhat troubled. Although, why would he be troubled by them locating the poles? Perhaps we'll discover why later. Bill says that he thinks it's connected to the missing people, which, yeah, again, I thought it was only Slappy Tello at this point, but I guess there's more. Dave's like, what am I supposed to do about this? It's like, well, that's kind of a fair point. But Bill is once again like, we need to close the lodge, close the trails so we can have a proper investigation. And Dave's like, you're out of your mind. And like, there's no way we could do that. We'll lose so much money. Like straight up Jaws mayor minded. He like won't hear it. And Dave's like, Bill, I thought you had more sense. That's why you were made the head ranger. But I guess that was a mistake. So I'm like, oh, so Dave has the power to determine who's the head ranger. Yeah.
Or so he says.
Yeah, he seems like he has some roots here. But hey, let's cut to the diner. Let's have a dinner party. We cut to the diner.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah, thank goodness. We cut to the diner where Charlie is reading a book about totem poles. Barbara asks him what he's discovered, and Charlie discovers that, how does he phrase it? It's like, it turns out Chikura is an Indian gateway to hell. It's like, what? I don't feel like that jives with any like Native American religious views that I know about. But he learned that the poles and the rituals are all meant to keep the evil isolated to the mountain. So apparently the tribes that had been there were they knew there was evil there, but they wanted to keep it isolated to the mountain. That's why people aren't supposed to go up there. And then Barbara asks him how it works, and he's like, well, I don't know. It's like, oh, cool. Hold on tight, guys. We're going to find out.
Some guy just told me.
It's like, I just read this book. You literally know as much as I do. But no time for that. We cut to outside where we get a POV shot from the point of view of what is, I guess, a roaring creature. We never see it, but we do follow its point of view. Barbara and Charlie hear it from inside the diner. The lights in the diner go out. The place starts shaking as if it's being attacked by the monster.
They go blue.
Well, they go blue, but I think it's meant to show them being out just on a budget. So
that monster's out there raving.
It's like, hit that strobe.
So throw some Avicii on and just get at it.
Yeah. The two of them are like looking around scared because the monster's there. It's roaring. Sorry. We're just going to cut away from that and never address it. So hopefully you weren't too excited about this monster development and some of our main characters maybe actually experiencing events. We don't have time for that.
They did like that 50s, 60s, like everyone's like, whoa.
Yeah, they're like,
whoa. Looking around.
Yeah, like clearly
whoa.
just the camera shaking. Nothing around them is actually shaking.
Yeah.
Yes. Their performances were top notch. Like someone called the Academy. Let's get them their Oscars post haste. So, no time to figure out if anything bad happens to Charlie and Barbara because we're going to cut to a stream somewhere else.
What? A stream?
Yeah, it's snowy. So I'm guessing it's further up the mountain or something.
Makes me want to rock climb.
Hey, you know what? Let me tell you how rappelling works on Shakura or whatever. So there, we see a dude in like you'd said earlier, some camo. He's using a rope to rappel down a pretty sheer cliffside. And then we suddenly see like a brown, maybe wood. It looks kind of wood, but it's also shaped like an alien, like has an alien head and alien eyes. But it still looks like it's got like the wood, like a brown and wooden texture to it. So it's like, what is this guy up to? Maybe it's the Flatwoods monster from West Virginia. Maybe it moved to New Hampshire for like for like the views.
This movie.
It moved there because there's no income tax in New Hampshire.
Right.
It's like the Flatwoods monster's really worried about paying.
Times are tough.
No sales tax. That's what there's not in New Hampshire.
Yeah, sales tax. Yeah, times are tough.
Yeah, times are tough all around.
In the old mountain, they shut the mines down, so not as many people to murder and eat. So just
how's he supposed to feed his family? So, anyways, this wood. And again, it's another stop motion one. So picture this in your mind's eye if you haven't seen this movie. It's like watching this dude. It grabs the guy's rope, so he stops. He's like, "Oh, what's going on?" And he's like struggling. But then he looks up and he sees the monster. And this is probably one of the scenes that made me laugh the most. Is we see the monster and it's just like waving its arms around in weird like symbols and stuff. Like it's throwing some like gang signs for its like, what is it doing? Why is it doing that? It's like it's playing a game of charades against no one in particular.
Dude, the gang signs thing is perfect.
He's just like throwing his hands around.
And it's in like patterns. It's like,
you know what it kind of reminds me of? Do you remember that Pokemon one with like Team Skull? Where every time you talk to them, they like threw like really fake exaggerated gang signs the whole time. I'm like, they're not like black, but this somehow feels racist. Like,
right.
Like it was just interesting. So like, it was definitely something like, I don't know what they were going for with this thing. It was trying to signal to the dude like, hey, I'm about to kill you. Here's your chance to cut your rope. Well, the guy doesn't cut his rope. And so it pulls the dude up. And we get like a really cool stop motion death where the creature rips the guy's head off and we get like claymation blood dripping out. So there you go. It's like, I love those ones where like the creature interacts directly with the person and we have to watch them like as like the guy, whoever it is that did it, if it was Frizzell, which I think it was, like, man, the work he puts into those monsters, the detail, so good. The humans that they interact with, they look like toys. It's so bad.
There is literally one monster scene. I am almost 85% sure it's an action figure. Like, I'm pretty sure it's not actually like clay. I think it's literally an action figure that they had doing things.
Just a toy.
Yeah.
All right. But anyways, no time to worry about this random dude. We just watched get his head ripped off. We're going to go back to what is presumably the town. We see Bill and Charlie. They're working on putting up some, flyers for the missing people. Barbara is just taking pictures of everything, and she's taking pictures of Bill. And then this is like a scene where maybe I read it wrong, but it seemed like she was like hitting on him.
You didn't. Yeah,
she was like hitting on Bill. I'm like, wait. She was just with Charlie. Isn't she with Charlie? And later on, it's implied that they're together. So I don't know what that entire thing was. But, like, I guess Charlie, sensing that something's afoot with his lady, he approaches them and asks Barbara about, or just, like, talking to her about the store. It's like, oh, you're going to be busier than ever at the store with tourists when they show up and everything. But wait a second. It's his store. So it seems like he's asking her about business, but, like, also it's his business, so he would know how the business is going to be. It's such a weird scene. But yeah, his
parting words are weird too. The whole thing was
So she says something to him like,
creepy.
She says something like, it's some chocolate that Charlie likes or that he ordered is like slated to arrive soon, and like, I guess she knows that they're on the way. And like, it's like, oh man, we're on the edge of our seats as they talk about this. And Bill's like, all right, well, you guys can socialize. I'm going to go put up more flyers or whatever. He's like, he's done with this scene too. But as if summoned by the idea that tourists might be influenced negatively, Bill Sheldon like approaches Bill violently to chastise him for posting the flyers up. Dave says that he won't allow it, and he throws some of the flyers at Bill. It's like, oh man, Dave's getting serious now. Bill's wondering why Dave would want to take them down. And, Dave, continuing his Jaws Mayor era, he says he doesn't want the public to think that the mountain is dangerous. He's like, hey man, let me tell you, the mountain's pretty dangerous. But he doesn't want people thinking that because it'll get in the way of his lodge, right, Shane? That's all he cares about. There's certainly nothing else going on. Outside, and also many years earlier, Dave is yelling at Bill for believing in old Indian tales, as he says. Dave says that there aren't demons in the town, only assholes who try to create them.
Wait, so this was a flashback?
No.
Okay.
No, this is another one of those scenes where it cut.
Oh, like it was like they filmed it originally.
Yes. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's why I said outside, and because they were inside when they were first fighting. Now they're outside fighting, and it's also in
daylight.
Years early, yeah, and in daylight. Well, it was in daylight when they're outside earlier, so that's okay. But it's definitely clearly years later, shot on different tape, like totally different scene. But hey, no worries. We're not going to even worry about any of that because we're going to have a very telling cut from Dave saying there aren't any demons in the town to Sally. She's investigating in the forest, even though her character earlier had established that she doesn't want to be in the forest anymore. She doesn't like it. She finds a tree with some blood on it and decides to keep investigating despite that. She moves a little deeper into the forest and finds a grave for a Reverend John Sheldon from 1859. Oh, who else do we know that's named Sheldon? Is it Dave?
Is it Big Bang Theory?
I wouldn't be talking about it if it were. Another one of the many pieces of
Bazinga.
Another one of the many pieces of media from that era of the 2000s when they put Musk on and acted like Musk was cool, and now look what we got.
That show, and I'm probably gonna catch flack for this, like it kind of ripped off Third Rock from the Sun. Not plot wise, but like vibe wise, you know what I mean?
Like how instead of being aliens who don't understand our society, they're just like nerds who don't understand basic stuff.
Yeah. And then they're like really smart and then like they have all these problems. Like, I don't know.
I could see that. I think that the part of the problem though is that like Third Rock from the Sun is it's like a lot of its problems are driven by like the plots are driven by this instead of just being like one-off jokes that are just references to nerd stuff. Like, comic books, audience laugh. But meanwhile, like Third Rock from the Sun. I'm not gonna lie to you,
dude. I've only seen like 3 episodes of Big Bang Theory, so
yeah,
and I've seen Third Rock from the Sun 3 times.
I watched the entire thing of Big Bang Theory.
Okay.
It had some charms to it, but only by experiencing it fully can I express how terrible it truly is.
Nice, thank you.
It's just but no, what I'm saying though is true. It's just like very much like, hey, here's a reference to something. Ha ha ha. Hey, they're nerds. They don't understand how humans work. It's like, oh, funny. Like this is comedy. This is the height of amusement for all of us.
Was it like 10 seasons or something like that?
The Big Bang Theory?
Yeah, 3. I don't know.
It was on for a long time. In some ways, it's still on because isn't Young Sheldon still on? Or no. Young Sheldon is over. Now they have George and Mandy's first marriage or something like that, which is like a Sheldon's brother Georgie from Young Sheldon is now got his own spinoff. So like
great old Sheldon.
We're really going into like the deeper into the Matrix here of the Big Bang expanded universe.
Cool.
I'm trying to see. I'm looking up to see how long the Big Bang Theory was on for. It's like too long for sure. Sorry, the first thing that came up in my search was the Styx album Big Bang Theory, which is like super funny. Okay, so yeah, it aired for like 12 years. It looks like
12 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah. Sure is.
All right. No time to talk more about Sheldon Cooper. because we got to get back to Sally, who's approaching a middle of the forest grave from a Reverend John Sheldon from 1859. So as you do, when you find a random grave in the woods, you approach it, especially if you're someone whose character was earlier shown to be very reticent to return to the forest and its possible evils. No, now you're the one who's going to go. So this is actually kind of a funny fake out. So she goes and like, it's one of those graves with like a stone slab on top of the grave part. So she like lifts the slab and then like, we don't see what she sees, but she apparently doesn't see anything of note because she seems calmed and puts it down. And then out of nowhere from the like ground / leaves behind her, a big old corpseified dude who looks suspiciously like a mummy emerges from the ground because he has like a series of mummy wraps on his entire body, which is why I say he's a mummy. I don't know if these guys just had a spare mummy outfit and they're like, well, I guess that's what we'll use for this movie, for this American reverend who died in the middle of the 19th century. He will now be also part mummy. We don't have time to dwell on that though, because it like guts out. She like pulls her gun on it. It knocks the gun out of her hand. And then, she goes to retrieve the gun and he like, kills her. But the kill is probably one of the funniest kills of all time because he just like wipes his bloody hand on her neck.
Right.
It's like, now you're blood. Now there's blood on you. It's your blood now. It's like one of the funniest kills. Like,
hope no one puts their finger in this later.
Well, that's in a different part because like I'm going to address later how the wounds that we see on her later do not match this wound. So he apparently just does more damage because he's got nothing else going on today. So that's do some more of it. But it's just funny in a movie full of like very fake looking like claymation humans being killed. This might be the worst looking kill because he's just like, let me dab my red paint on you. Oh, you're dead.
It was so fast too. It was just
it was, yeah. Like they didn't linger on it too much. I'm
pretty sure that was a sound effect too. Actually.
It very well might have been. Yeah. Whatever you can pull from like a public domain sounds lists soundboard.
Right.
And I don't need every murder to be like that one murder that I said went on for far too long in Slithis. Like not everything has to be a kill scene that lasts like 80 years, but maybe a little more than just like a blah. There you go. Now you're dead. All right. See ya.
Surprise.
Yeah. You ruined the surprise. Anywho, back at Bill, Stillman and Charlie, Bill is telling Stillman to get some coffee because they need to go hit the trails. By the way, they're out front of the Wild Goose Lodge, I believe, once more. And then Stillman's like, I think I'll have something a little stronger. And he like pulls out a flask or something to have like a shot. And finally Bill's like, no, stop. Like, stop drinking on the job. Take this seriously. People are missing, possibly dead. Charlie wants to talk to Bill about something that he read in a book from the library. It's probably some lore, but hey, we'll never find out what that is. He just is like, and Bill's like, okay, but hold on. It'll have to wait. I have to go talk to Dave Sheldon again. Because that's always a great plot point, is having him go back to talk to Dave Sheldon again. Dave is obviously still being pissed off at Bill for sharing information with the guests about the missing people. The number of which apparently has grown to 4. And now I'm having a hard time keeping track of what the 4 is supposed to be. Because if you're counting Rangers, he's missing 3. And if you're counting Rangers and guests, like tourists, he's missing 7.
Right.
So yeah.
That they know of.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess we don't know how many he knows, but it's just such a weird number to choose 4, which doesn't, in either way that I know that what people I think I know he knows that are missing, it doesn't make sense. But it doesn't matter because Bill and Dave, they're having a shouting match about whether or not they need to close up the Goose Lodge and all that. And they're shouting so much, in fact, that Charlie, our little mild-mannered Charlie, rolls in. He like calms them both down. And we get the typical, all you care about is money, and then you're overreacting to nothing thing that we get from all these types of movies where there's some sinister thing going on. So not new ground by any means. then as they leave, Bill's like, we'll be back, or like, I'll be back, or whatever. And then Dave menacingly says, maybe not. And then the camera lingers on him as he smiles. I'm like, oh, what's going on with Dave Sheldon? Is he suddenly
full turn?
Like heel turn immediately, like, oh no. The veneer of society has been sloughed off and now he has become evil. But once again, we're in the past based on Bill and Charlie having different clothes and different hairstyles,
different ages
and different camera quality. So they're having a conversation about how apparently Bill had earlier left the Chikura area to become a big time cop in the city or something, and he couldn't hack it or didn't like it or whatever. And he came back again, even though he was asking Sally earlier, he's like, you're from here. It's like, well, apparently he's from here too. But despite that, Bill's like, there must be more to life than this, though. And then Charlie's like, I agree. I used to feel the same way. I was running around chasing women. And Bill's like, but you have one now and you don't know what to do with her. I'm like, oh, Barbara, the one who's just like trying to lay game on Bill earlier. So, okay.
Yeah, your indentured servant, apparently.
Yeah, someone who works for his store but knows more about his operations because he's too busy probably nerding out on weird lore. Then we get one final note where Bill's like, what if we lose? And then Charlie's like, what if we do? What if we already have? Like, it's supposed to be profound, but it's just kind of confusing. Like, I don't know why. What do you mean, what if we lose?
Abbott and Costello.
Yeah, like, do you guys know you're fighting monsters yet? Like, I don't know that you know what you're dealing with. Smash cut to Dave Sheldon. Okay, now here comes the full supervillain. He's heaving a rope that is hoisting Sally's corpse, which has been retrieved from his mummy pal in the woods.
Quick.
Yeah, his evil, like, he went all in on evil. Like, yeah. He pulled a full on Elon Musk. He went like full evil so fast. It's like, man, just get back to cheating in Diablo, dude. You don't have to do this. Yeah. So then what is it? As he pulls her up, again, she's looking a little more beat up than we last saw her, a lot more wounds. She has a gash in her neck, which Dave decides, hey, I'm going to reach on in there like a little freak and start moving my hand around. I'm like, gross, but also not super realistic looking. So not too gross, but still pretty gross. But then apparently something about that gets him upset and he just slaps her corpse around a little bit. Like, all right, Dave, like, you went full crazy, like from business owner to just full on crazy immediately.
Oh, it gets better.
Oh, we do. So we get some really ominous music from the soundtrack and some very hammy, menacing smiles from Dave as he pointedly walks around the lodge, like really strutting his stuff. He walks to like a record player that he has sitting there. Mm-hmm. And it's like an old timey song with a female vocalist singing, and Dave's like running around, like lip syncing to the song. He's doing a little bit of finger conducting to no one in particular. Well, at least I thought that. Then I noticed he was singing to a mask on his wall that looks like a, like kind of looks like an old timey, like hobo kind of, like with like a pink nose.
Yeah, like the old clown.
It's like not quite a clown though, because it doesn't have a bulbous nose. It just has like a pink nose.
Right.
Like, so I thought it was like a wino, like an alcoholic, like with that kind of like pink nose thing. But yeah, so he's doing that to his little mask. After the music is played for a while, he gets like a serious look on his face. Then suddenly it's another grin. And it's like, oh, okay, so he's just doing like facial exercises here. Then he's like, I'm putting on the mask. So he puts on the old timey hobo clown mask, whatever it is. He puts it on. Outside the lodge, we find that Bill and Charlie have arrived to investigate, which we never, as an audience, realized they knew Dave had turned evil, because we barely realized that Dave had turned evil. But apparently they suspected it all along. Yeah, Bill's going to go inside the main entrance of the lodge. He's going to send Charlie to go back and check the office. Again, I thought this would be a more dramatic reveal, but instead we discover that Bill, as he walks into the lodge, immediately finds Sally's suspended corpse, like on the ropes. I was like, oh, I thought this was going to be like a more of a thing. Instead, he just walks in and is like, oh no, Sally's dead. And she's strung up at the Wild Goose. So,
calls it in. Only 3 are missing.
Yeah. Okay. So only 3 are missing and we found one. Rip. back to Charlie. He just like breaks the window of the office door and like to walk in. Like it's like, oh, they definitely know that Dave has turned evil even before we did somehow. So he's walking around. There was a shadow in the corner when he first went in. I was like, oh no, is it Dave or something evil?
I think it was a mistake.
It was just an error. Yeah, it's just a continuity problem.
I saw that too. Yeah, in the bottom left. I was like,
uh-oh. Yeah, I was like, oh no, but no, it wasn't. But then suddenly Charlie's in the same room with the record player, which is how I realized that Sally was suspended in the lodge and the record player was in the office. The geography of this place is hard to keep track of.
Yeah.
Again, because of the Resident Evil style fixed camera angles. Charlie's in full sneak mode, stealth 100. He walks up and sees the masked Dave, who's stroking the head of an emaciated corpse that's sitting in a chair in the living room. And Dave's doing a little dance, stroking the corpse's hair.
Such a good scene.
The scene goes on a while. Yeah, like probably more than I'm comfortable with in some ways.
The dancing was like on point.
Yeah, his dancing, he was going for it.
Yeah. There's some straight up Manhunt vibes. I don't know if you remember that game.
No, I remember
2?
the game, but I never played it. I wasn't allowed. Yeah, really? When it came out, my mom said no because she'd heard too many bad things about it. So yeah, I wasn't allowed. So there were rules imposed.
You straight up myrtle people.
I know. Yeah. There were rules imposed on me. My mom likes to say that when we talk about stuff, she's like, it's like you guys didn't have anyone watching you. Like, no, there were rules. And that one as a game, I wasn't interested enough to like try to like find my own way to get it. I was just like, nah, it's fine. I don't need this game. So I still haven't played it. But in any case, as he's doing his dance, the camera kind of pans and we see there are several other emaciated corpses also in the vicinity. Like just anywhere there's a chair, there's a corpse. Pretty gruesome. Except that they look like Halloween decorations. And the fact that they look like Halloween decorations isn't helped by the fact that there's actual Halloween decoration, like a jack-o'-lantern.
The pumpkin,
sitting in the middle of the room. It's like, ooh, that doesn't help with the...
So is this stuff fake? Is this real corpses? Or these like...
It doesn't help with the immersion at all.
Yeah.
So Dave is like, okay, there's a bunch of corpses and a dude dancing in a weird mask. I think I'm going to dip. So he moves out of the room. Or no, sorry, not Dave, Charlie. So Dave moves out of the room. Charlie follows him. And also, okay, scratch that. I was thinking about later on when he runs into, he's going to run into Bill. So Dave leaves the room. Charlie follows him. Charlie's also holding a decapitated head of some kind. And when did he get it? And why does he have it? The movie never addresses it. So who knows? Who cares? In whatever strangely lit room Charlie follows Dave to, he grabs there's like a bunch of like Native American regalia and weaponry. He grabs a spear off the wall ready to fight. So like, but then he turns and gets snuck up on by Bill from right in front of him. Like Bill didn't come up behind him.
Yeah, it was like staring at
Bill
him,
came up from in front of him. And it's like, what? So you have like a zero perception, like negative perception? How did he not see him?
Well, it was blue, so I assumed it was dark.
Oh, true. But that was even bluer than when the lights went out at the diner. Like this was like so blue that I thought it was actual blue lights. So I guess the lighting bamboozled me. But Bill's like, Charlie, I have something to show you. So they like leave the room where presumably again, I think Dave is supposed to be. They go to like a little end table in a corner, like in a hallway where there's just a piece of telling paper that says something like, it's like, when the ritual isn't complete, a second person will arrive to complete their forefathers' work to summon Shakura, a demon more powerful than the first, or something. And then, so it's just on a piece of paper on an end table in a hallway. Bill's like, hey, you know what that means? And then Charlie and him say at the same time, let's get the hell out of here. It's like,
yeah, I know. It was funny.
Are we doing like, Abbott and Costello? Is this a bit? So, they go to exit when suddenly the masked Dave pops up out of nowhere. They're surprised, but then Bill says, we've known all along that it was you. It's like, what do you mean? What do you mean you knew all along? Why didn't you tell the audience? We didn't know. But Dave
saved us a bunch of time.
I know, seriously. So, but Dave's like giving all the credit to Perkins, not to Bill. It's like, whoa, he's a ranger, but I guess, Charlie is is the bookworm. He's the resident lore expert.
He does have the head.
He also is holding a head for reasons that will never become clear. But yeah, so Charlie's trying to tell Dave that he can't control the evil any better than his ancestors could. It's like, oh, so you guys really know about the lore here, and like you knew all about it. Bill questions Dave why he would want to do it, and this is probably one of my favorite cuts. So Bill is like, why would you want to do this? We cut to Dave. Dave laughs. Suddenly we cut away to the scene from the beginning of the movie when we have Slappy Tello, and then like the mullet skull bursts out of his belly. But this time it stays longer, so we see the creature like turn to the camera and give like a look, and then Tello falls over and the thing crawls over him. I don't know if it's trying to eat him or if it's just trying to crawl over him. It's just moving on top of him.
Right.
Then suddenly it becomes a bigger creature, and it is what we will later know as the Winterbeast. So it becomes like, and how would you describe the Winterbeast, Shane? I would like to see how you would describe this thing before I try to describe it.
It's like any Halloween demon that you would see at like a haunted house, or like it's got like really long hair, or like, okay, hold on. If like Rob Zombie had to make a Halloween house demon, it's got like little teeny horns, long hair. It's like bad skin.
Yes, the devil horns,
weird,
the little devil
weird
horns,
regalia.
for sure.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. The regalia is all Native American regalia. So I didn't know if it was trying to say that the long hair is like meant to denote that like this demon monster is like also somehow associated with Native American lore, because it had had like some totems on it, some like
sure.
It's like it had kind of what looked like
a shaman,
like if it was supposed to be like Native American coded on top of devil coded. It seemed like it was like trying to blend these two things, which if there's anything is that European conceptions of like devilishness and Native American like warrior culture definitely have the same lineage. There's no like abrupt changes between these things. It's just such a weird attempt to blend into one monster. But hey, you know what? Now we've cut back to our boys, and so Dave's laughing, and he's laughing, and his head bursts into flames, and it melts. So let's track these events. Bill said, why would you want to do this? Dave laughs. We cut away to Slappy Tello getting mullet head bursts out of him. It crawls over, becomes Winterbeast, roars at the camera, cut back to Dave. Dave's laughing. His head bursts into flames. His head melts. That is the scene. That is the series of events that just happened. So
this whole like turn of event, like him playing the record and like to now is like my favorite scene in a movie we've done. It's just so out of control. I almost respect that we never get like an answer of like, it's like, why? Yeah.
It's like, here's why. Head on fire.
Yeah, because fuck you. That's why.
It's like we'll never know really why he did it, and who cares? Like, so he went. I just like how his motivation went from we got to keep my lodge open, I need the money, to yes, I have emaciated corpses in my home that I enjoy dancing with, and also
I'm on fire.
I'm on fire. So, so yeah, that's all she wrote for him. We cut to Bill. So here's another jarring cut. We cut to Bill on the lodge phone in the lobby, telling a guest apparently to wait. And he's calling Perkins at the general store. He's like, weren't you just with Charlie? Like, you were just with him. Why is he now at the general store? And it's another day. Like, what a weird cut. So Bill is like telling Charlie, it's like, hey, I'm going to send Stillman to cut the totem pole down. We're getting it over with. And Charlie's like, no, it belongs to the museum. We should call the museum and have them pick it up. And then Bill's like, nope, that'll take a week. We're not doing it. We're destroying this thing. And then, Bill's like, because I'm responsible for what happens in the mountain, the decision is made. And then they hang up the call. Charlie's unhappy about this. He wants to preserve this artifact. But we're going to go ahead and smash cut to our man Stillman. No sunglasses this time. One of the few times.
Wow.
Yeah, he's walking in the forest with an axe in the dark. Because what better time to try to destroy a demonic relic than in the middle of the night? Credit to Stillman, he actually seems apprehensive this time about this event due to, spookiness. He regards the totem poles carefully this time, even though he's definitely seen them before at least twice. But he decides to finally take a swing when all of a sudden the middle totem pole comes to life and starts throwing hands at him. It
was pretty funny.
It's just like, hey, straight up stop motion totem pole is going to take a swing. It actually picks up like a claymation version of Stillman, but it just throws him down and he seems unfazed and just runs away. Did you notice that?
It looked like one of those old metal music videos from the 90s. It was like,
yeah, it's just swinging his hands around. Well, maybe it was.
Like Sepultura.
Yeah, maybe it was from one of those.
Yeah, dude, that's around the same time.
So, yeah. But, so he runs away. He thinks better of this. We get some really rad music that kicks in as it's out of nowhere day again. And Bill and Stillman are walking around some dilapidated looking buildings, and they're like cabins. Some of them look like cabins. Some look like houses, and some just look like
this made no
outbuildings.
sense.
Yeah, why are they here? I have no idea why they're here.
Well, it gets weirder.
It does get weirder. It's about to. So, Stillman heads to one of the cabins and goes in to investigate. Bill's just walking somewhere else that seems like there's sand. I'm like, where in the mountains of New Hampshire is there sand? This is absurd. Suddenly, there's a roar as Stillman sees something and flees, and it turns out that it's a giant dragon-like looking monster of some kind.
Yeah. It's like a T-Rex.
Yeah, it makes no sense. It's huge. It's like a giant like dinosaur. So Stillman's running. He tries to get into a building. It's locked. Seemingly hearing the roars, Bill is like running to help Stillman out, but he like steps on what seems like it was like a something under the sand that was like soft wood that breaks, and he like kind of falls into it and catches himself and is trying to climb out of this like sand trap he's in. So that's going to stop him from helping Stillman, who, first we got to wait for this creature to throw some gang signs, because, we got to demonstrate how cool these,
got to represent the crew.
His crew, yeah. So it stops and does some weird like symbols, and then Stillman is like huddling at the edge of an old porch, where the creature is clearly knows he's there. So he tries to break through the side of it, which I don't know why, because when he does that, which he succeeds in doing, he does it, and he just rolls out into the middle of the yard where the creature is, and then it bites him in half, and possibly the worst effect in the movie. Because it just looked like a still image of him got bit. Like it was just like, now crunch. It's like, what is this, a commercial?
Yeah, it did look like, that's so funny, dude. like a used car salesman.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, they're gonna bite our prices in half.
Yeah, we're taking a bite out of these prices.
Bill is finally able to free himself from that weird sand situation. But then instead of like, I don't know, running, I guess he already knows what happened, so he just sits next to a wall and just looks sad. So I guess he knows Stillman's dead without actually sharing a scene with him. I'd love to know more about why this was shot this way.
In the dinosaur, it makes no sense.
Nope, it's just another monster. Like none of the monsters have any kind of coherence, so why not? Back at the general store, Barbara is going through some stuff from Charlie's drawer, and she finds a book and hands it to Charlie, and he's like, oh no, I shouldn't have let Bill and Stillman go up there.
Right.
And he runs off.
Like, what?
Like, what did you see? Like, what do you mean? What's in the book? Like, with the movie has no interest in telling us, so we will not ever know.
I know.
And then in one of the other inexplicable situations, so he runs, I don't know, out the door, up the road or something, like out back, and he comes to like a chicken farm. And there's a sign that says like something like, what does it say? It's like, don't put your hands through the fence. And then all of a sudden, a giant bird monster is in the middle of the chicken coop. And it's like starting to break through the fence. So Charlie runs, and the bird monster is, in front of his store now, roaring and causing a fuss. It looks so fake. It's like superimposed, like on top of superimposed things. It's so crazy how bad it looks.
Surprised they went through with that one.
I know. Charlie runs to a huge tractor with like a shovel bucket on front of it. But apparently he can't get it to start, so he flees from there. He falls over a guardrail, which is like, when did he run over a highway? But then once he looks, he sees the bird monster. It scares him, and then he falls down a hill for 3 hours. Whenever the bird monster scares
the
him.
The sound effects like...
He's like, he's like falling down this hill forever. But luckily he's completely unfazed by the fall.
Right.
Because, and also guess what? Good thing he fell down that hill, because now he's by his truck somehow. And he gets into his truck and drives off. Smash cut to now he's by the totem poles and pouring gasoline on them. Again, this is just like, and when I say smash cut, I can't emphasize enough how jarring this cut is. It's ridiculous. So now he's by the totem pole. He lights it on fire and the pole explodes. So, okay, like, I guess it's destroyed. But we're going to go to the forest once more, where a more haggard looking Bill, from when we last saw him digging himself out of the sand and also wearing a different outfit for some reason. He's backing up in the forest when suddenly there's a roar. Behind him is the Winterbeast. It's here. And I love this chase scene because they never share a frame together. It's clearly shot at different times, where Bill is running and looking back in the POV.
And then there's no audio. They cut the audio out for them talking, like when Bill and...
That's later. Yeah, whenever he gets...
Yeah, I know, but like that whole like...
Everything about this is just like a very rushed post-production thing.
Right.
But yeah, he's running, and we see the Winterbeast in pursuit, and we see him running, and we see POV shots, but we never see them in frame together. We get to, what is it? Bill's in some reeds. He thinks he might have, hidden from the Winterbeast, because when we cut to the Winterbeast, it looks like it's confused and looking for him. Like he must have accidentally like procced his stealth skill when he like dipped into those reeds.
Yeah.
So yeah, they don't know where he is, but it's still on alert. He's still in the yellow. When suddenly Charlie drives up in his truck and honks his horn, and Bill immediately gets into the vehicle and is like, wait, was he by a road? Where was he? Then as they try to drive off, the Winterbeast is now in front of them, and he steps in front of the truck, causing it to crash. Luckily, Bill gets up, and he's got a bloody head, and, so does Charlie, as we see later. But yeah, Bill gets up and fires a flare gun at the Winterbeast, which I guess he had, and also he thinks will help. It does kind of...
Winterbeast hate flare guns.
Well, the Winterbeast is trying to throw a log at them, and when he launches the flare gun, it drops it. So boom. But the beast does like start chasing them again. Bill, he goes through the cab of the truck to the other side, and then runs to get a better angle of attack from his flare gun, I guess. He launches another flare at the Winterbeast. It seems like he shrugs it off. It's not affected. Charlie pops up, though. He's not dead from the accident. He gets Bill's attention and throws Bill like some kind of totem necklace. And then this is like, I think, the only scene in the entire thing where we actually see all of them in frame together. So we see the Winterbeast. We see Bill holding the totem in the air, shaking it for some reason. And we see like Charlie trying to dodge the Winterbeast. And this is the first time we see that the Winterbeast is supposed to be like really big, It's like real tall, real big guy. Like we had no sense of perspective until then, so we didn't realize it.
And Charlie has the head still, right?
No, does he?
Or is that the totem?
I thought he doesn't find the totem until later.
Okay.
No, so he's just trying to dodge it. I'm like, why'd you throw away the necklace if that's somehow important? Don't worry, the movie will never answer it.
Yep.
But then
makes sense.
So yeah, after that, we get some more shots of the Winterbeast just moving around in his own frames. It seems to be running at Charlie, who picks up a stick like he's going to hit it with it. It doesn't seem like a very useful weapon, even in terms of stick standards. The Winterbeast roars, and as Charlie swings the stick, it seems like the beast hits him. Again, they don't share a frame for this, so it's hard to tell. But Charlie gets knocked down, bloodied. Then Bill remembers he's in the scene, so he launches another flare. So I'm sorry, I'm just trying to recount it for how it is.
Bill's like, "Oh yeah,
it's
wait,
like, I'm here."
Yeah, shit, my boy.
Oh, my boy. So Charlie rolls over, having survived his attack. He sees a totem head on the ground nearby. And so this is what you're talking about. So he sees the totem head. Bill is like fleeing, continuing to like ineffectually launch flares at the Winterbeast, which again, it seems to have worn out its usefulness. Charlie grabs the severed head as Bill is going to take aim with another flare. And this is when we get like Charlie sits down the totem head and is like shouting at Bill. And like you said, there's no sound. But Bill like ignores the Winterbeast, which is now, by the way, the Winterbeast at this point has a puppet head with like alien jaws coming out, like how in the xenomorphs in Alien have the jaws that come out of their big jaws, the little jaws. His jaws are like coming out of his head. Bill launches a flare at the totem head instead of dealing with Winterbeast. And then I guess the secret weakness of Winterbeast was this random totem head, because as soon as he hits it with flames, the puppet head is also smoking. There's like flames inside of its head. It falls down. The entire head catches on fire for some reason. Who knows? That's just how it works, man. You burn the totem head, you burn the Winterbeast head.
So was that the same totem head he was carrying around the lodge with him?
No, that was I thought that was an emaciated actual head. Was that the totem head?
I don't know.
I'm
just trying to get some connections here.
Oh, buddy. Why even try?
Right.
Yeah. So Bill is relieved but wounded, and he heads over to help up the similarly wounded Charlie. The two head off laughing as Bill says, "Next time we hunt for bears."
I'm so who
cares about their dead friends?
They're laughing. Like, yeah, right.
Yeah. It's like, oh, next time we hunt for bears. Oh, also everyone we know is dead. Then we cut to the smoldering head of the Winterbeast one more time for good measure, in case you forgot. And then our final scene is the Wild Goose Lodge. We zoom in on the door with a handwritten note that says, "What? Sorry, we are closed for business." In the window, like there's a sign. And then boom, back to the sick tunes as the credits roll. And that, my friend, is what we call Winterbeast.
Jesus.
That was a event. That was a situation.
Doozy.
Yeah, many people thought it couldn't be done, but here we are.
I don't know how we're going to do this next part.
The McMurder of the movie? Yeah. Hold on, let me put more sauce on it. So next up is the McMurder of the movie. What do you got? You got anything in mind? Because I got something in mind.
Like, I've got one in mind.
What is it?
It's the only one I could. Well, I think the only one that should count is the chest burster. But like, let's be honest. I think it's the alien dude ripping the head off that repeller guy, right?
Oh, okay.
I mean, but like, do you count Claymation? I don't know.
Yeah, of course I do. We're a society. We can count that.
So the chest burster thing is cool, like with the Winterbeast coming out of him. But God, there's something about that freaking alien thing throwing up gang signs and yanking that guy up and then just tearing his head off.
And then just like the drip of like clay blood as it drips out of his head.
Yeah, and then we never see that thing again.
Nope. That was all it got, and he had it seen.
Yeah.
So the one I was thinking, I'll just say it, is I don't know, the scene of Dave Sheldon's head catching on fire for no reason.
That one's pretty good, but like, who killed him?
The Winterbeast? I don't know. Like, yeah, you're right. I guess it might not count because he's a villain too. But it's just so funny because it's like the order of events we see is question, laughing, flashback, head on fire, dead. But what they would have saw, what our heroes would have seen, is, why did you do this? Ha 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 ha! Head on fire. It's like, what? It's just such a funny series of events. But I actually want to go with the gang signs alien head ripping. It's so dumb.
Yeah, he's like
it's ridiculous. It's like apropos of nothing. We don't know the man who's murdered. We don't know this alien. It never shows up again. Why does it do those weird hand symbols? Why? Like, and then we get like the corny looking like claymation corpseification. Like the blood is just drooping. It's so funny. So I'm inclined to give it to Alien Monster.
I think we have to, off of technicalities. I mean, the head bursting is pretty sick, but I don't think you can. I don't know. I I feel like you have to go with a monster kill.
Yeah, my favorite part about like the I guess it's the birth of the Winterbeast or whatever it's supposed to be. Whenever it bursts out of tallow, is when it turns to the camera and just like moves like a puppet, like rah, 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 rah. It's like, oh, okay, what are you up to, buddy? And then it just like cuts to it crawling away and then becomes full grown Winterbeast. It's like weird,
yeah.
But like I don't know, that just the alien is so funny because it's like, why is this happening? No one understands it.
Yeah.
So I say alien. I say the alien monster.
Okay, it's settled. Alien monster.
Yeah, McMurder the movie.
Oh, honorable
mentions.
Next, right?
Honorable mentions to the
Headfire.
Yeah, honorable mentions to Headfire and to the belly bursting of the birth of our Winterbeast.
That's fair.
Oh, but yeah, what comes after this? Why, Shane, I thought you'd never ask. It's time for the judgment categories. Music happens. Presumably music happens.
And music.
Make sure you put it through like 3 layers of recording, whatever it is you choose.
Oh, like I'll record it, then like record it from my phone through like a headphone speaker.
Yeah.
And then record that through another phone and then send it to myself.
Yeah, I want what Michael Crichton in Timeline called transcription errors. Let me see this.
Yeah.
Let me see it be real weird. So judgment categories is where we assign a letter grade to 5 different categories in the movie. Those categories being story, which includes writing, acting, effects, music, and that can include sound design. And then finally is the cult factor, which is the little X factor that makes these movies so special. Feels like it's been since December since I've said these words.
It has been.
I know. Well, Shane, what do you say we kick it off with the story/writing?
Some say it feels like the first time. The very first time.
Some people say I'm hot-blooded. But other people say I'm cold as ice. But I like to think of myself as a jukebox hero.
Oh, no. So much foreigner. I don't even know what to do here. I'll be honest with you, because there is a story. Is it editing? Is it writing?
There is a story. No one can say there isn't.
So, like, my gut reaction is C, just because, like, there's stuff going on, and there's a beginning and an end. It's not the worst thing that we've had to deal with. It's not like Death Ship, where it's just like there's a lot of continuity errors, I guess, but I don't know. I'm curious to see how you feel about this.
I feel like they throw a throwaway line in there about it being like the Indian gateway to hell, or however they phrase it. Their words, not mine. I feel like they throw that in there because that's just their excuse to put whatever the hell monster they want to in here that they can.
Right.
But let's be real. I had to do outside research to find out the real Chikura thing, like what that legend was and like allegedly supposed to be, and why it is that it's associated with actual like Native American stuff. Like, why do I have to do outside research to understand this story about some mountain in New Hampshire better? No, absolutely not. Other than that, it's just like Jaws, but with like stop motion. No, C is fine.
With a musical number.
C is what it deserves. C is more than it deserves.
Yeah, I feel like D. I think D is a little too harsh.
It's a little too harsh just because I had fun with it, so I feel favorably to it.
Yeah, right.
But like, let's be real. No, it's so many non sequitur moments of why is this here? What is happening? Who is this? Why are they attacking? No answers will ever be given. Dude, they asked him.
It's not a good.
They asked him why he did it, and his head lit on fire. They'd rather light him on
as
fire
he's laughing
than explain why. They're doing it.
No. He did say he's like, oh, you have to. Why he started laughing is he's like, oh, I figured it out because you have to summon them with an image of yourself or something. And then starts laughing, doesn't explain what that means, and then he catches on fire. Remember, he said that weird thing about how like that's how you have to like, with self image or something enough,
like. Yeah. But in any case,
which makes no sense because like No one looks like that tree monster.
No one looks like any of those monsters.
No one looks like that weird...
Certainly
right.
no one there looks like the Winterbeast. I just wondered if maybe he meant his mummy grandpa who got resurrected and attacked.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. So yeah, C for the story and the writing is fine. That's totally acceptable.
Fair.
Now here's for another all-timer. How do you feel about the acting, Shane? Or do you want me to take the lead on acting?
You should take the lead.
I think it's really interesting that they show us how their acting is improved by showing us the old footage and the newer footage. Because as boring and weird as the new footage was, the old footage was so much worse. So they definitely did way better in the newer footage.
They had practice.
Yeah. But honestly, the only performance I can sit there and be like, this was a good performance is Dave Sheldon.
100%.
Like that dude is going, he's taking his like, Silence of the Lambs moment. He's having a dance. He's having a time. Like everyone else, it's just like, what are they even doing here? Like Stillman's character makes no sense. Bill's character alternates between whatever it's supposed to be and not supposed to be. And I do have a soft spot for Charlie because everyone loves your lore boy. Everyone loves their lore boy, right. But like he never explains what anything is. He just says, "Oh no, in the book, I gotta run." And that's probably not his fault. That's probably editing too. But like without those scenes, it's hard to justify any of the characters. So I'm going to say probably another C.
That's fair.
Are we going to go even further down? Or are we going to go to D?
No. I think C's fair. Again, we all know who carried the movie. That scene. Okay, folks, if you're not going to watch this, just do yourself a favor. It's Tubi. It's free. Just watch the scene where he is listening to that music, puts the mask on, is dancing with those corpses like around. It's just so bizarre and weird, but like out of everything in this movie, like that, like you could make a movie around that character from that scene alone. Like you could build a crazy serial killer movie. The mask was creepy as hell. The actor did such a good job with like physical, like just conveying stuff through his like just body language because he wasn't actually speaking. Man, yeah. So I would have said a D, but his performance definitely bumps it up a letter grade, 100%.
Yeah, it's basically all on the backs of the Dave Sheldon character, the actor.
Yeah.
Who's that actor again? Let me look it up real fast. I want to make sure I get his name right. It is.
I'm shocked he isn't in other.
Yeah,
things.
Bob Harlow. So, and another thing though is like I get what you're saying. Like, just go to that sequence. That's a really great sequence. But I almost wonder if like will it work without the rest of the movie of him being like Jaws mayor? Like, no, my business. It turns out, no, I'm the one who brought this evil upon us, following in my forefathers' steps. And now look at my corpse army in my home. It's like, what?
Yeah, I don't.
What happened to my capitalists? My sweet capitalists running his business. So pretty funny, pretty good.
Pretty.
So yeah, so acting is C. All right, so effects. I'd love to hear what you're thinking here because I have maybe a controversial opinion on this.
Okay. I don't hate stop motion. In fact, I kind of like stop motion.
Okay.
I think that the Winterbeast character that they made looked pretty cool. The chest bursting scene, they did a pretty good job on. There are like I can't remember, Sally. Her death sucked. Like that was tough. You would have almost been better at showing like a different scene, maybe from the back of the monster just hitting her or something. The skin effects were weird, and it almost seemed like one guy learned how to do the weird skin stuff, and that's why they kept using it. But I'd go B on this one. I wouldn't go to a C, just because of the turmoil behind the scenes, the like lack of money, and the fact that like. Whether you like stop motion or not, that's not really the question. If you would look at still images of the monsters, they're so detailed. The wood, my favorite one is the weird wood guy that kills the naked chick. The way that they were able to carve, it looks like wood. Like it looks like they carved like a little Groot statue to like kill this lady.
Yeah, it definitely does look like a very Groot looking guy. And like almost
but they were able to get the wood
so
grain.
Groot looking. I'm like, Marvel, did one of you watch Winterbeast?
Yeah, what are you doing? But yeah, I'd probably go B. I don't think it was a total failure. There are a lot of things. Oh, like the intro scene. Like this movie starts off with a bang. The makeup on the guy from having the slash face, the Tello or whatever his name was. Slappy Tello looked great. But then the action figure, flailing arm, wacky waving, inflatable flailing arm tube man that popped up in the background was like, what the hell was that?
Why are you here?
So like, yeah. So I don't think it's a C. I think it's a B. But I'll let you chime in.
I actually, I'm almost willing to give it a B just on the strength of the stop motion alone. I think that stuff's really cool. It's detailed.
Yeah.
It's jarring. It always is. Even if you watch like the best of all time, like Ray Harryhausen, like you watch like his stuff and it never quite looks like it fits, but you admire it for the effort, right? Like you admire it for like the amount of like work that you had to put into it. And I think that the amount of work that they put into this is excellent. Like, granted, I wish they'd spend a little more time on the human models when they get killed, but man, like those monster moments, like even when they're doing like why are you moving like that? Why are you doing these weird hand motions? Like, I don't know what you're up to. I feel like that was just like an exercise in proving that you can make some cool motions. And that was what he was going for with it, like a Frizzell. But no, and then out on top of it, the makeup for, the makeup for the Winterbeast was good. Like it looked cool. It looked interesting. Like he looked like a pretty scary dude. I'd say that, the skin effects thing was a little bit like hit or miss. I think that it worked really well in the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't think it worked as well with Sally later on, but it wasn't like it was so bad that I was like, worst thing I've ever seen. Like it was just like, not that impressive. So yeah, I'd say B is perfectly acceptable. I think that it's what it does when it does it pretty well, especially when it comes to stop motion. And the cool. Belly burster, the docking head.
Yeah. They did pretty good on that.
Yeah. So, all right, effects. We're going to go B. We're being generous folks.
Yep.
Next up is music.
Man, the editing just killed this, like any momentum on music at all. I felt bad, but
all right. I might go B just because the songs are bangers. I know that the quality is terrible, but
that's not the music's fault.
No, but I was like always like whenever the music would kick in, I'm like, yeah, something's about to happen.
And then they would like jump edit, like cut, like just straight up, just like cut. And it was just music done. It's like, what the fuck?
So you know how they put a copyright for when the soundtrack is written?
Yeah.
The soundtrack was 85 and the movie wasn't done being shot. So like, what was he writing the music on? So like, that's part of it is like, what is happening? I remember looking at that and I was like, oh, so this movie is like finished up in 1992. This dude had already written and copyrighted his soundtrack for this.
Yeah.
So
he's pumping out bangers in his basement. Just like, I don't even know what this is about.
Like, here you go. Enjoy it.
Damn it. It's going to sound great.
So like, I feel like if it were written for the movie a little bit more, it'd probably be more coherent.
Sure.
But, and also like we talk about sound during the, music portion, and some of those monster calls were cool. Like I liked like the weird, crazy noises they would make. I don't know. It's with sound, it's easier to find something to complain about than something to compliment.
Sure.
So yeah, the quality of the soundtrack is kind of what hurts it. That's not true. The quality of the older shot scenes, like when the sound quality diminishes, when they look at the older scenes, that actually does hurt it.
You can like hear that. You can hear like there had a fan or something running in the background on some of the shots.
Yeah, I think I might actually have to now.
Yeah, you can like
I'm going to dip down to C. I was being really generous, but I kind of got to go down to C.
The Foley work was pretty bad in some points where like, especially when Perkins Charlie busted that window out and like broke into the office. Like you could like hear someone just basically like went, it was just like, I don't know. It was just kind of weird.
Yeah. They tried to hire like the police academy dude. And it's like, oh, this guy.
Michael Winslow.
This guy's not nearly as good as Michael Winslow.
Yeah. That's funny.
Although, and then you're leaving out, you're kind of bearing the lead on the scene towards the end when clearly Charlie yells something about the totem head and we just don't get audio on
and
it.
Just cut the audio.
You try to overdub it, man.
Yeah. Like you could have had him yell like anything. It was so weird. I think they were trying to go for that effect. It was like slow motion, like
there's like
real dramatic, like yeah.
But it wasn't that dramatic. It was more just confusing.
It wasn't.
It seemed like a mistake.
It did.
Yeah. So what do you think though?
So was it? Did you go C? Is that what
I did move
saying?
Down to C? I was starting at B. I was being really generous, but
I think.
I moved down to C.
I think it's C. And again, look, they didn't have a ton of money. Like it's hard to do this stuff when you can't pay like people that do this stuff all the time. So,
well, I guess now here's the real test is cult factor, that little X factor that makes these movies so special. This is the real wild card. This is a Joker that can add some malts if I'm playing Balatro.
Yeah. I mean, you want my opinion?
I don't know. Do you want to go first? Do it. You won't do it.
I think this is an A, and I'm going to tell you why. It is so weird. The first time I watched this, I fell asleep, or I thought I did. I like closed my eyes for a second, and I opened them, and it's like a whole different movie. And I'm like, I don't even know what's happening. Did I? So I like rewound it, and like this movie makes no sense, but at the same time, like the whole time you're watching this, you're not sitting there like, Jesus Christ, I wish this was over. Like it's so much fun, and they fit in like a bunch of moments that kind of made up for like the weird lingering like stupid scenes, and you do kind of start to like Charlie a lot, and Bill, right? Bill, is that his name?
Yeah, Bill's our main ranger.
You really start to kind of like them, but I don't know what era I like them. So like I don't know if like I liked the older like shit shot, like the old school, like early 80s versions of those guys, because I literally thought halfway through that they changed the actor for Bill. I'm like, did they literally just switch the actor?
No,
and then like I had to watch it a couple times. Well, and then like 10 minutes later, it's back to the other one. I'm like, okay, wait, what is this? 2 characters? Are there 2 Rangers? And I'm just mixing them up. But like, I think this is the kind of stuff that just makes it something like that have that cult factor where people, it's got staying power. Our boys at Mystery Science Theater did a riff on this one. Like I just feel like
riff tracks on it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just feel like a movie like this is literally what this category is designed for. So,
well, I like even like we mentioned earlier that like the beginning is a little bit of a slog, like while we're getting into it, like while we're getting ourselves going. But even those slog moments are kind of punctuated by random monster attack. Like, hey, here's a stop motion random monster doing some business. And then it's like, here, back to, I don't know, the damn ranger going to ask Dave Sheldon to shut the lodge again. He asked that dude so many times to shut down the lodge. It's so funny. How many times he's like, will you shut down the lodge now? He's like, no. He's like, you jag. And then like dips.
He knew the whole time.
Yeah, except they knew the whole time. Yeah, but we, the audience, never did. What a weird. Yeah, that is so funny. Like, yeah. So, but when the movie like starts kicking into overdrive, and by like the second half, it's like, and that's the second half of a 74-minute movie. Like, this is not a long movie. So, yeah, that's the reason I say A too, because I have fun with like the weird randomness of it. I have fun with like the slipshod editing and the weird performances. So like, even when it's boring, it suddenly becomes not boring because of some weird jarring thing they do with like editing or like narrative coherence or random monster attack. It's just so funny how they do that. So yeah, I would say A for cult factor. This is just one of those weird, you've got to see it. You've got to watch this thing and experience it.
Yeah, I agree. That's well put. Yeah. I think the next one's going to be tough. This might be a disagreement between us, but we'll see.
Yeah. So that does it for the judgment categories. But wait, there's more. Yeah. If you what? If you forgot that we have one final hat on a hat, one little extra pièce de résistance, as they say. It is the D roll. D for
noises.
D's nuts.
about this specifically?
No, just in general, all the time.
Oh, okay. That's
Dude,
awesome.
My least favorite one is whenever they say, "Hey, do you like Imagine Dragons?" I'm like, "Stop, please, please stop."
Yeah, I like Imagine Dragons.
No,
Why?
I won't do it. I won't finish it. It's Dragon distance. All right, all right. So for the D roll, that's our hat on a hat, our little extra bit of spice on the top of this, and those categories are cult classic, B movie, grindhouse, or trash. And hopefully we never expose people to trash, but there's only a finite number of movies in the world. It might happen. So I'm going to let you go first, since you think this is going to be very controversial, and I'm not ready to deal with it. So I'm going to put it off on you.
I initially coming into this was like, this is a B movie, because it is. We're not even going to, this is a B movie. This might even be a next rung down, like a C.5, a C+.
You ready to grindhouse it?
No, I'm just saying, like, if you were to rate movies, like, you know how they have like a B, like when someone says, "Oh, it's a B movie."
Sure.
This is like an indie film that falls into that. The amount of support for this movie, everything that went into this movie, the 10 years or so of production, writing, reshoots, getting the actors to come back and do some scenes. They shot.
Well, the actors weren't doing much, Shane. We covered that earlier.
Oh, bam!
Shots fired.
They shot like 2 months worth of footage in 1989 with an 8mm camera, which is why a lot of it sucks. Like, it's so bad. It's like basically someone had like one of those hand camcorders and was like recording a movie. But I think you got to give it a cult factor. I think because there's so many weird things going on in this, and there's so many like quotable moments. That freaking weird dance scene. There's just so many things in this that kind of make it stand out when you look at like other movies that, like, what we would consider a B movie or grindhouse is typically because it's not worth watching, but it's just not up to snuff with like other, popular horror titles. So I gotta go cult classic on this. I don't know why. It's like after talking about it for 2 hours, I think that's where we need to be for in my opinion. So,
well, all right, unexpected. I thought we were going to be in agreement on B movie on this, because I was thinking more like it's a good effort, it's a noble effort, but over the course, I guess, of my 3 times watching it, there's never a time I'm not watching it. I'm like, this scene's boring. I'm going to check my phone real quick while I wait for the next monster attack or something. So like, it is an interesting movie, and it is like, I will say, I will give it cult classic, but it's like an asterisk. Like, it's a good, bad, like, this is like you're going to watch this and be like, okay, unbuckle your seatbelts, kids, because you're about to fly out the window. Like, it's just too crazy and too weird and nonsensical. And at the end, when they're just like, we knew all along, it's like, you did?
yeah.
Because you gave no indication in the movie that I was watching. It's just all these like weird choices they make. It's like, and part of it is probably just like budgetary constraints and time constraints. But I think the thing that I actually admire, like not ironically, like being silly and enjoying it, is they came back and finished it, man. Like, and during his free time, Frizzell doing those like stop motion things for the monster attacks in the middle.
Yeah.
Like, I've done stop motion animation. It is a slow grind. It takes forever. So to create your own like detailed models and then like spend the time to make it happen, that's like difficult. And like never letting go of this movie over the years that it kind of lied dormant is impressive. So if for nothing else than effort, I say yes, I will go cult classic. And then there's just the laughs we had along the way.
If they made a documentary about how they made this movie and like what happened behind the scenes, I would be glued to that.
Ooh, like a best worst movie style one, like where they explain like what was going on.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my God. We should reach out to that guy.
Call him up.
Well, I mean, it's so crazy, like how this all went down. There's gotta be there's gotta be a story, or it could just be as simple as they just were like, fuck it, and we're done. We don't like it. But like, oh, we got to hunt bears next time. Like, there's there's just so many little things that just happen in this movie that are just so
there's
ridiculous.
2 times, 1985 and 1989.
There's like 4 deaths you don't even know who dies.
They could have been done, and then they didn't.
Right.
They finished it. So something about it is like, we got to finish this movie. It's like, there's an amount of dedication to this project that's like, you know what? Maybe it doesn't hold together very well. Maybe it is kind of incoherent and a little bit like non sequitur, like we said. But man, at least you went for it. You finished it. You released it. And I can stream it on Tubi in my home in 2025. That is an accomplishment, if nothing else.
Yeah, in definition too.
It actually looks good, unlike some movies we've watched.
Yeah, right.
Well,
yeah, I'm proud of them.
Yeah, way to go, guys. You did it.
Yeah,
cult classic, but with the asterisks of get ready.
This is our lowest graded cult classic we've done.
Is.
Like, if Howling 2, if we did cult classic on that one, I think we rated it a lot lower. But
I still think we were too hard on Howling 2. Your Sister's a Werewolf.
I agree, dude. After some of these, I agree with you 100%. We should do a reprise.
Yeah, let's do it. We'll do Dark Side Drive-In what would be a good thing? Like reevaluation. No, that doesn't make sense. You don't evaluate a Dark Side Drive-In. Like Dark Side Drive-In second run. Like a second run theater. You know what that is?
Re-release.
Oh yeah, or re-release. That works too.
There you go. So I make the big bucks. That's why they pay me to stay around. It's not for my timeliness and editing.
No, your editing's good. Your timeliness. No, not so much.
Oh, man. Well, we did it. We're back.
We squirtantly did, and we squirtantly are.
Yeah, stay peeled for our Christmas episode.
Are you actually going to release this before our Christmas episode? I will commit a 9/11 if you do. Why? What's wrong with the Christmas episode? Why you refuse to release it?
I had to make it sound good.
What happened? What did we do that's so bad?
It'll be out. It's not because of us. It sounds great. It's a hilarious episode. It's awesome. And it'll be out.
I can't believe this is going to come out
around this episode.
I literally refuse to believe that this episode is going to come out before our Christmas episode.
Oh, man.
It's almost the end of the first quarter. I'm already compiling numbers for my reports for my job, my actual job, not my this one, not this thing. My actual job.
Not my horror. Oh, the horror, but not the horror. Capital H.
Yeah. Capitalism is the horror.
No, so both of these are going to release around the same time, like probably the same day.
That is obscene, absurd.
Would it make you feel better if I did one the day before and then one the day after?
It would. It would make me feel better.
I will do
my
that.
God.
I'll do
Chandler
that.
Bing. Oh my God.
Oh my God. All right. Well,
speaking of God,
that,
our next.
Speaking of God, what's next up at the Dark Side Drive-In?
Next time on the Dark Side Drive-In, we're gonna take a return to the much beloved world of Italian horror cinema to
Mamma Mia.
Mamma Mia. That's a sauce. I don't know. Where is it? Oh man, I can't even. Where's the IMDb for it? This is gonna go. Oh, there it is. We're gonna do 1989's The Church. It's a return to what we loved, which was Italian horror. We really loved it with our Rats. That is Rats Night of Terror.
We did.
Yes. So, and you'll be like, oh man, is this one directed by Dario Argento? No. But he was one of several writers that are credited for it. And I'm not sure how involved he was, but I think he helped with the story. But the director for it is actually Michele Soavi. But then also Lamberto Bava was involved, because this is considered to be part of it was supposed to be the third in like Demons trilogy, which if you guys have seen the Demons movies, or Demoni, if you are familiar with the Italian title. But that was a series of movies that were directed by, or the first two anyway, were directed by Lamberto Bava. And then they're going to take over with another director and then do a third entry, which was what eventually became The Church, because it had decided to divorce it from the themes of Demons and Demons 2. But yeah, super interesting movie. As always with Italian movies, has some interesting visuals. Get ready. It may or may not have some sick tunes by a Dark Side Drive-In favorite group, which...
Rebel Revolver.
Well, I mean, other than Rebel Revolver, if Rebel Revolver did like a collaboration with like Claudio Simonetti, I'd be like, oh, what's going on?
What's going on, guys?
What's going on?
I would totally get on board with us doing covers with them of old Claudio Simonetti tunes and like kind of reworking them. That'd be sick.
I didn't even, you kind of buried the lead. So some original music by Philip Glass as well in this. So
yeah, the soundtrack looks phenomenal. There's a bunch of different independent artists on there. So
yeah, I didn't realize that Philip Glass did it, and I've seen this movie before. So whoopsies. I mean, I knew Goblin was involved. Anytime you hear Goblin's music, they're there. So
it's gonna be so good.
So get ready for probably some overdubbed lines and some weird stuff, which we love. So yeah, The Church. Oh, I forgot to tell you, it's streaming. Where The Church is streaming. That's what part of what you need to know as an audience member who may want to actually watch it. Obviously, it's on Tubi. It is available on Full Moon, which is that one streaming service from what's his name? Oh man, what is his name?
Sorry, can't help you. Michael Bublé.
Charles Band. It's Charles Band. I was thinking of his father. But yeah, Charles Band's streaming service. And then it says it's available on AMC Plus, which is weird because usually if it's on AMC Plus, it's on Shudder. So I'll look and see if it's on Shudder too. Because it's very possible that it might be available on Shudder. But, Tubi's free. It's easy. So go to church. Go to the church. And that's all I have to say.
I'm looking up. I'm on Shudder right now. It is on.
It is on Shudder?
It is on Shudder. But they have it listed as 1990, which is kind of weird. But yeah.
Well, different places can be a little bit different with movies from other countries like this, because they'll do it based off of when it was released in one country or another. So it can be, especially if something like this, it probably had a few releases over the course of a couple of years. So it's probably the same movie. It's not going to be like the the houses that October built or whatever. And I watched the older one that was just the documentary and not the horror movie version.
Yeah, that's wild that even is a thing. And they kept that name. And I get why, though. But, I don't know. Super weird. But, yeah. Well, I think we have probably one shout out we want to do. Well, I have one. You have one, right? So
you can go first.
So I guess just shout out to everyone for being patient with us. We had some stuff come up. We've had to kind of change our recording schedule around a bunch. So I appreciate all of you for hanging on and sticking around with us. We had a lot of fun at the end of the year. We did an interview with Matthew Schmidt and his movie, Mr. Sandman. So go ahead, check that out. Cool movie. Great interview. He's an awesome dude. He has a lot of interesting takes on horror and indie films in general, just filmmaking. So definitely check out his page. I think it's Acre Films, right? They have a couple different offerings for you. So definitely check it out. It's on Tubi. I'm pretty sure it's on Amazon and YouTube. So definitely give that a look. But yeah, thanks everybody for kind of bearing with us while we kind of work some stuff out. But going forward, we are set. So yeah.
Yeah. We're back, baby.
We're
back. A dinosaur story. But yeah, the only other thing I wanted to add was thank you to Rebel Revolver for our theme song. Obviously, it rules. If you're in the Pittsburgh area, if you're not in the Pittsburgh area, go ahead and listen to them on Spotify, music streaming sites and all that. They have videos on YouTube. Follow them on social medias. And if you are in the Pittsburgh area, keep an eye out for their shows. I think that they had taken a break from shows during the winter, but as the weather warms, they will be playing shows once again, and I frequently attend them, so get on out, see them play. So yeah, shout out to Rebel Revolver. As always, we appreciate you.
Yeah. Well, I think it's going to do it for us. I don't know if you have any parting words of wisdom or any follow-up, anything we missed with Winterbeast, but I'm good if you are.
No, I think we covered Winterbeast as thoroughly as anyone on Earth has ever had.
Yeah, my God. Yeah. Well, I've been Shane.
And I'm Liesel. Now, Stefan.
Oh, geez. And you've been tuning into the Dark Side Drive-In, where do we have a good spring tagline?
I don't know, man. Because we had a winter one we used
lights out,
all
frights
of
out
0 times.
We said it in the last one, so we'll get one use out of it.
So, what would be a spring one? Like,
so like springs out, things out, but that's kind of dumb. Rains out, brains out.
Rains out, brains out. Ew.
Gets a little weird.
I was thinking like
some Imagine Dragons, right?
Shut up. No. We'll do rains out, brains out for now. But I swear to God, if they send more paramedics. So.
Oh man. Yeah. Well.
All right.
Bye.
Rains out, brains out.
Oh,
really
good.
Wet. It's a very wet, wet series of imagery. It's a moisture stampede.
What if we did a play on like April showers? Bring like May something. May dower? I don't know.
Yeah, let's not workshop this on air. We'll cover it. We'll cover it later. Right. We'll talk about this privately.
But hey, if you got any ideas, you can hit us up at the Dark Side Drive-In on Instagram. We're also on Facebook. We have a fan page on Facebook as well. We are no longer using X. I don't really understand Blue Sky, and we're on Slasher, which is a pretty sick platform. I highly recommend it. If you're into horror content, you will find things you like on that platform. So,
well, yeah, if you want to just follow me, I am Darkschneid. On Blue Sky, I'm at Darkschneid, like bsky.social. I am still on X because I am keeping in contact with some communities on there. So I remain Darkschneid on X. I am on, on Instagram. I am Darkschneid is on Instagram. So you can locate me on those places. Oh, and I'm on Slasher too. So I think I'm Darkschneid on Slasher as well. I'm really trying to like occupy this branding for myself.
Yeah, I think it works. It's a good call.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think it's gonna do it for us. Bye.
Auf Wiedersehen. Auf Wiedersehen.
He thought he was in control. How wrong he was.
Come to the dark side, drive-in. It's the dark side, drive-in. Come to the dark side, drive-in. It's the dark side, drive-in movie club. From Dynamis Media comes a horror cyclopedia. Watching movies from the gates of hell. Covers ripped from a blockbuster shell. Mr. Bosch is the only good car. Just and the stuff just can't be stopped. Things get hairy in the werewolf's lair. Turn the corner and the prowler is there. It's the dark side drive-in. It's the dark side drive-in. Come to the dark side drive-in. It's the dark side drive-in movie club. Shane's the one who runs the show. He produces and keeps the flow. The Savini of the ones and twos. Only Jack Cordell has bigger shoes. Stefan does the bulk of the research. His descriptions just can't be besmirched. Lots of synopses are the top of lore. Just like Lamson, you'll be begging for more. It's the dark side drive-in. It's the dark side drive-in. Come to the dark side drive-in. It's the dark side drive-in movie club.
From the deepest corner of the darkest universe, two brave hosts battle through nameless hordes of ghoulish monsters most foul, all to bring you the eternal glory of the Dark Side Drive-In.
It's the Dark Side Drive-In. It's the Dark Side Drive-In. Come to the Dark Side Drive-In. It's the Dark Side Drive-In movie club. It's the Dark Side Drive-In. Come to the Dark Side Drive-In. It's the Dark Side Drive-In. It's the Dark Side Drive-In movie club.